This episode of Clear Shots is presented by the Impulse Podcast Network. Check out impulsepodcasts.com for more info.
Welcome to the Clear Shots Podcast with Seth Skinner and Jake Jones.
Hey guys, it's Seth from Clear Shots. Today is episode 102 with our good friend Bill.
Shit, these guys are good. Don't give them clear shots. Not bad, assholes. Engage! Engage!
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Clear Shots Podcast. I am Seth Speed Bump Skinner.
I am Jake, still drinking Natty Daddies in 2020 Jones.
Yeah,
And I am Bill, literally Bill hair sign.
I like that one.
I should add that one to my list.
You should, literally.
I'm Seth, literally Bill hair sign Skinner.
Well, no, it was a good story because it was annoying. The whole thing behind Speed Bump. We're playing D&D, and I missed the session before this last one. So apparently what happened was we were going through this cave. I mean, I'm going to be completely, like, paraphrasing in simple terms.
Spoilers.
We were going through this cave, like this underground cave where there's monsters and shit, like high level. It was basically either take this cave with dangerous enemies and get there quicker, or, you know, take the easy path. We chose the cave, and halfway through, me, the guide through the cave, and Paulie's character, Paul Gamble's character, fell to down this chasm like 500 feet. And when we started up the session, we were fine. Paulie and I were fine. We lost the guide. We don't know where he is. We still can't find him. But Paulie and I were fine, and we were about to fight like this fucking ridiculous boss, like that we probably weren't supposed to fight anyway. But so it gets to the turn order was me and then Paul's character, and I played both because Paul was missing. He was late. So I did that. And that was like 10 minutes. And Seth was next. And it was like 35 minutes to convince him to jump down and help us out.
I didn't want to jump down.
It was at least a half hour for him to convince him to help us. And then here I am.
It's
Well,
like
look, I
15
used a
feet
third
per
level.
minute.
Yeah, but I used a third level spell to get up on the platform, so I didn't want to waste it, you know?
It's really just a sunk cost fallacy at that point.
Yeah.
You would exactly, and you would think that, oh well, we even convinced Seth to come down and help us. No, it took another 40 minutes to convince Katie and Sean to help us too. I think it was like it was at least an hour to get all of you guys down to the chasm.
I mean, you guys should have just killed it.
And then the funniest part was that like this thing was a beast, but I mean, the combat probably only took 20 to 30 minutes. And right when we kill it is when Paul shows up. And it's like, oh, wow. Like, we only did, like, 2 things that you missed. Like, we got everybody to jump down, and then we killed the giant lizard boy.
Yeah.
So, Speed Bump Skinner.
You're lucky he wasn't thinking, because Roadblock is a cooler nickname, so if he had been thinking on that level, it never would have gone down.
Yeah, true. Well,
No, he's going to be Roadblock eventually. He's just going to not help any of us. And we're all going to die, and then Seth is going to be the only character left.
That's the plan, ultimately.
Yeah, that's the goal, isn't it? That means you win.
Yeah, it's like Battle Royale. D&D. Battle Royale mode.
Essentially.
Yeah, I had this guy, so at work I had this kid. I was cleaning up, right? I'm cleaning the bathrooms, and like I put a new trash bag in and shit, and then I see out of the corner of my eye some kid running to the bathroom. And of course, it happens right after. And that's always how it works. As soon as you get it clean, someone runs in.
Yeah, of course.
So he runs in and takes a dump. Definitely takes a shit, for sure, because it was like a good 15, 20 minutes.
One whole corner
or
of
he
the
was
store
recording
is just
TikToks.
gassed out.
He could have been recording TikToks. Wait, what'd you say, Bill?
He said, you can tell he was taking a shit because one whole corner of the store is just gassed out.
Yeah. So like I'm like, okay, well I'll come back and do the other bathroom, like, or I'll finish the bathroom or whatever, like in a second. So I go and like start sweeping the floors and all this other shit. And then next thing I know, he's walking in front of me, like out in the floors, standing in one of the aisles that I need to sweep. So he's blocking me again. And so I'm like, all right, well, I'll go back and finish the bathrooms. And like 3 minutes after I go back to start doing the bathrooms, he comes in again.
He comes back.
And he took another 20-minute shit. Like, it was so wild.
Was this guy Andre the Giant by any
he was
chance? Like,
definitely
why was he
disabled.
shitting so much?
No, he was disabled for sure.
You walk into the Country Max bathroom and there's just a bathtub.
Just full of mounds
steaming
of shit
bathtub.
and crushed Budweisers.
Fucking like this diameter. Just
He probably
turds.
was playing like Fortnite or some shit on his phone, like not even taking a shit. And
That's
then I
the way
had
to
this
do
other
it.
guy that fucking, he always feeds the ducks and geese and shit. Like, he just buys a bunch of like cracked corn and like whole corn and just goes down to the water and throws it at him. And he's done it for like a long time, and he's like an old dude.
He's living the dream.
Is it like this?
Yeah, it's like that. Oh no, that's popcorn.
It is popcorn.
But like, he has like, when you load up his
Just a
Oh my God,
bucket
that's-
of
that's-
cracked corn.
You're not a good corn handler, dude.
I mixed all the flavors.
Can you imagine? He just keeps a
he's
bucket of
changing
animal
flavors.
feed.
I wonder if I ruined it.
Yeah, you probably did.
No, it's all good.
That's why the
No, you
cardboard's in
cracked
there.
it. You cracked the corn. And I don't care.
Yeah. But he has like, he's like super old, and he has like a very particular way when you load up his vehicle how he wants each bag. So he wants them like stacked. He's like, put that one 2 inches away from the side, and then put all the other ones on top of it, leaning towards
And he's
that
buying
side.
all just like feed corn.
Yeah, it's just corn, like local cracked corn and whole corn. And that's all he does. Every time he comes in, he buys a shit ton of it. But he's like old as shit. And my manager was like, yeah, I usually give him a discount because he's old and going to die soon.
Your manager said that? That's amazing.
Oh, that's good shit.
But he's a nice guy. It's just he's very particular about where it needs to be. Which, I mean, I get it because he's old and he probably needs it to be accessed easily and stuff.
Yeah.
But like, it has to be facing a certain way and standing up and shit. But I mean, apparently I stood with him for like 15 minutes just talking to him about ducks and shit. He's like, yeah, they learned how to dive underwater because one of them was doing it, and it took him like 6 months to figure it out. And he's like, yeah, now all the ducks like dive underwater for the whole corn, so I throw it all down there and it sinks to the bottom.
Dude, he's just training them.
He's
Yeah.
the fucking duck whisperer.
Yeah, he's literally Duck Man, dude. We're just gonna see like him
Man
flying
Drake.
flying over the city. Friendly
Harvey
neighborhood
Duckman,
Duckman.
attorney at law.
Duckman is the shittiest superhero, dude. That's the gayest.
I wonder if
That's
there's
so
a
dumb.
superhero named
There
Duckman.
has to be. There's a man for everything.
Yeah, there's like a cartoon for it. Or so it was like one of those fucking... It was like The Tick or something. One of those adult cartoons. But
Yeah.
like,
Duckman.
I'm pretty sure.
It was on USA Network.
Okay.
Wait, that was actually a thing?
Yeah, Jason Alexander played his Duckman.
Was he, wait, so he had like duck powers? Like,
No,
what
it
are
was
the
like
powers?
it was like an adult cartoon, like Bill said.
That's dumb.
Dude, everything Jason Alexander has ever done is a fucking home run.
Yeah, no.
Including the actual home run when
Yeah.
he was showing the fucking Yankees the benefits of fucking cotton uniforms or whatever.
Really? I never heard of that.
You ever see the fucking picture like George Costanza holding the bat?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he fucking
was that in the
knocked one
show?
out of the park.
Oh yeah.
He hit a literal home run.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Well, I guess cotton uniforms make you way better at baseball. You know what I mean?
Better than
what I heard.
spandex.
Yeah, for sure. All right, will you leave the corn alone? You know what I mean? All you want to do is play with the popcorn. It's unbelievable. Since the moment he came in here, he's
I've been
playing
eating
with the
it.
popcorn.
What do we got?
No.
No, he's like protective of my popcorn.
I was hoping for some of that orange cheddar. That's the way right there.
Yeah, it's just the classic cheddar and the butter flavor. Yeah.
Speaking of orange cheddar, I have a really good food or object for later.
We'll see about that. Is it better than Sour's Cream versus Heavengate?
I think so. But it's still the beginning of the podcast. I want to mention the one thing that is on everybody's mind.
Mm-hmm.
Kobe Bryant
Oh,
has passed away.
Kobe
Along with
Bryant.
his daughter. And those 7 other people. Bill was actually the one that broke the news to me Sunday.
Yeah.
And he goes, holy shit, Kobe Bryant just died in a helicopter crash. And I literally look at him, I go, shut the fuck up, Bill. And he goes, no, really. Like that was, and it was a very...
Well, it's kind of weird because, I mean, obviously it's out of nowhere. You kind of didn't, like, it didn't grab me immediately because I couldn't, like, believe it,
Yeah.
really. I was like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah,
Like,
this one really hit different. Like there really is a sense of this wasn't supposed to happen.
Yeah. Well, he was like a superhero for us. Growing up, we grew up watching
that's what I
Kobe
mean.
playing the NBA. Like, I
he
remember
started in when? Like 97?
97 or 98.
Really?
Yeah.
I want to say the 96,
He started
97 season.
He started with AI. They got drafted the same year.
But like that, I mean, that's when I was watching basketball when I was young.
Yeah.
Because when I was a kid, I was watching Jordan. And then Kobe was like the guy. Like,
Yeah.
he was kind of like a larger than life character.
Literally.
One of the last ones, too, that did that. I mean, LeBron's
There's
kind
not
of the
going to
guy
be,
now,
like,
but-
I was talking to my dad about this yesterday. There's not going to be a guy that gets to the same level as MJ, Kobe, or LeBron ever again. They're trying with Zion Williamson. It's
Yeah.
not going to happen.
I
Because
don't know. Zion definitely like has that something that makes you stand up and take notice.
Yeah.
That first game he played, 3 quarters, he's playing like 4 minutes a quarter. I'm sitting there hating on the dude hardcore, like, look at this fat piece of shit. He's already sweating. He's been playing 3 minutes. And then the 4th quarter rolls around. He starts fucking nailing threes. I'm jumping off my couch and fucking shouting.
Yeah. Well, the thing with Kobe was like he was doing shit. It seemed like he was starting to do shit outside of basketball and like
Dude,
start
he
to,
won an Oscar
Yeah.
for some shit that he wrote. It wasn't like he just produced it and just had
Attached
his name,
his name
on
on
it.
it, yeah.
Like he actually wrote that shit.
if only we could have brought Kobe to a Pokemon Center.
Yeah. Could've healed him up. Well, I don't know.
It was very weird, especially as we were learning, because we were hanging out at Cass's with Tron and everybody, and like as we were watching the movies, and we were drinking, we were smoking, we were relaxing, and it was almost like we were too relaxed to really comprehend it.
Yeah.
And then because it broke during the first, we were watching Fellowship and it broke.
Yeah.
And then when Fellowship ended, we took like a 15-minute break, and then we were like, oh shit, like this is real. Like literally everybody's talking about it.
Yeah.
You couldn't go anywhere on the
Yeah.
internet without having it be on the banner or like,
Yeah, it like hit the whole country. It seemed
dude, soccer players were talking about it. Neymar scored a goal.
because I was watching
and
like I was
dedicated
like,
it to him,
I had
and-
the Pro Bowl on. I was like watching it in and out or whatever, and that's all they were talking about.
Yeah.
Because I mean, well, it's the Pro Bowl. Like they're barely playing.
Yeah, they were talking about Kobe even if he like last year's Pro Bowl. They were talking about Kobe anyway.
Yeah.
Like that, but it's just crazy. Like you don't
Well-
think of it,
Plus, it was his first year of eligibility for the Hall of Fame.
and that's
Yeah.
the creepiest part.
And
he would have been
just the day before LeBron had passed his career scoring total, and he was there to like pass the torch to him.
Yeah.
And they were going to do a big celebration tonight because it was the next Lakers game at home after that. They had this whole celebration planned. It was going to be the top 5 scorers. So it was going to be Kareem, Karl Malone, LeBron, Kobe, and MJ. And they were all going to be there to like congratulate. I don't think Karl Malone would have been there, but I know Kareem and Michael Jordan were going to be there.
Yeah.
And then the weirdest part was Shaq. That was the worst because his sister just died like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden his best friend / brother dies.
Yeah, because that was...
And his niece.
I mean, with LA, it's like... Well, when aren't they playing the Clippers like tonight or tomorrow or something?
Yeah, they were supposed to. They canceled the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that would have been wild, man. Because that's both LA teams. The atmosphere would have been fucking...
Dude, the craziest thing was how certain players just went off on Sunday. Damian Lillard had like 62 points. Trae Young went like 45 and 15. Like, it was crazy.
Yeah.
It was absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it's like, it's just weird. Like, I guess he was going to a travel game. Taking his daughter to a travel game.
Yeah.
They were doing fucking helicopters, man.
And the fucked up
Scares
thing,
me.
too, is like we were talking about how like we hope that they just crashed immediately. But apparently there was like 20 seconds in between like them realizing that, oh shit, this is going down.
Right. I
before it
guess they like
landed.
went up. They tried to make like a turn too quickly or something and increase their like elevation. Apparently, that's what I read.
Yeah.
But because it wasn't like a fuel, like engine failure or anything like that. It was just I think it probably was just a pilot error of some sort. It said there was like 9 people on the fucking thing.
Yeah.
First of all, why are there 9 people on a helicopter? Don't do that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to do that.
One of them was actually a junior college baseball coach who's like one of the most respected baseball coaches like in the game and shit. And fucking Jeff McNeil of the Mets had a long post of like that dude like coached him in junior college and basically helped him get to the majors and shit. And it's just the whole thing is fucking tragic. Like,
Yeah.
like so many people on that plane that like touched other people's lives.
Right. Yeah, it's very, and it just ends like that. So
The thing,
he would have been first ballot Hall of Fame. Either
oh my
way,
god,
so.
yeah. And the thing too is like the one thing that's getting me the most pissed off is the people that are harassing other people for being upset.
Yeah.
Because, like, well, you didn't even know him. He's just a basketball player. And it's like, fuck you, first of all.
Yeah.
Dude, oh my god. Did you see fucking
Joe
Ari?
Hogan? Oh, Ari
Yeah.
Shafir?
Dude,
What Ari
Jesus
Shafir
Christ.
said was way too far.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he like goes off on the rape thing. It's like, Ari, you very publicly like outed yourself as not giving that much of a fuck about consent when you're out here dosing people with MDMA
Yeah.
without them even knowing about it. So why are you taking this?
The thing
stand?
is, like, I think he goes for shit that he thinks is funny, but it's really not
yeah,
like that funny. Like that tweet really wasn't that funny, and it kind of was unnecessary. It was completely unnecessary, really. But dosing Bert was unnecessary and not really funny.
yeah.
Like, I don't know why he thought that was just going to be hilarious. I don't know. I didn't find it funny, really. I just felt like it was, I don't know, kind of
Too
stupid.
soon.
Yeah, it was just poor taste.
And that's the
really.
other thing, too, is like we were talking to people Sunday, and one of them mentioned, oh, well, I heard that he was accused of rape back in, like, 2003, so I don't really give a shit. And it's like, but it wasn't even, like, the charges were dropped. He ended up settling it out of court.
Yeah, but anybody could be accused of rape. That
Exactly,
doesn't
but
mean
at the same
shit.
time, it's like, okay, so he has that one incident, however bad it may be. I don't think it's a big deal because everything in the law was settled perfectly fine. And he still did good things anyway.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it's funny because like that stuff never offsets the one bad thing that is in the media.
you fuck one goat, you spend your, you know what I mean? But whatever. Like, and that's the thing is like, there were people on Facebook like, I don't give a fuck about Kobe Bryant dying. Soldiers die in Afghanistan every day, and you don't hear about them. Do you look them up? Do you read about them? Like, you could go out and mourn about all these random soldiers as much as you like, but I never see you do that.
Not to mention, you do care about Kobe Bryant dying because you're posting about it.
Yeah.
Right.
So stop. Just don't say anything, right?
It's very frustrating, and I didn't realize, and I criticized Kobe a lot. He was one of my most polarizing players, and I've criticized him on the show and on Facebook and in person. Like, I didn't think he was as good as a lot of people said he was, but I always knew he was one of the best. But and now it's like
the thing was like with him and Shaq, they were like just unbeatable.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's not really much you can deny.
exactly.
Skill-wise.
And then, but I posted that thing and I changed my profile picture, and somebody messaged me and they're like, "Well, you just made a post last week about how LeBron is better than Kobe, and now all of a sudden you're sad that he's dead." And it's like, yeah, I don't see what the fucking correlation is with that.
Yeah, what
you
does that mean?
fucking imbecile. Oh my god.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. Like, I think it's like I think Aaron Rodgers is better than Brett Favre, but that doesn't mean I fucking am not gonna give a fuck when Brett Favre dies.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna be like, fuck
Yeah.
Brett Favre.
And it's just
Yo, fuck Brett Favre for never sending me dick pics.
Yeah,
Right.
true. Well, yeah, when he goes, it's gonna be everybody's gonna be all out. They're gonna be like talking shit about his dick pics.
and the
And it's
thing
gonna be like, yo, fuck Brett Favre for being the thing that killed ESPN.
Yeah,
we already mentioned this, but I think the big thing is that like the shock comes from with how it happened, the fact that there were also 8 people involved, and also the fact that, like you said, it shouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
And it's 2 days later now, and I'm I woke up this morning and got on Reddit and was immediately reminded again, like, oh shit, that's right.
right.
He's
yeah.
dead.
Yep.
Like, I've had to be reminded like 100 times now.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like like when it first happened,
Like, Michael
it was,
Jordan
like,
is
there was
still
like a,
alive. Which
Dude, Vince Carter is still in the league. He's 2 years
and
older.
like you get like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Oscar Robertson and all these other players that were like mentors to Kobe.
Yep.
And then it's like it sounds morbid, but I always thought that it would be like, oh, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has passed away, and then Kobe is the one on Twitter or on ESPN.
Yeah.
But now it's no, Kobe Bryant is gone. And that I just said that, and it was weird to say that. Like, Kobe Bryant is dead.
Yeah.
I just don't. It doesn't make like there was a part of me, honestly, that literally thought one day he was just be like, ah, fuck it, I'll come back. Like, I literally thought that would happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he probably could have played. I wonder the level that he could have played at, but he still could have played.
I mean, he still could have, like, I don't know, he probably wouldn't have averaged much more than 10 a game and maybe played 25 minutes, but
yeah, but
he
it
could
comes down
still
to,
go off for 40 any
yeah.
given fucking
I mean,
night.
it comes down to physical ability, like what he can do. Like, obviously, his instincts are still there, probably,
Yeah.
and like he knows, you know, he
Dude, that's the other thing is, like,
understands the
that,
game.
like, you see that clip of fucking Matt Barnes, like, faking him out, and he doesn't even, like, flinch. He doesn't blink. It's like, the dude, he just had such the fucking ridiculous competitive drive. He was so, like, maniacally
Yeah.
focused.
He understood the game, and
In a way, like, Kobe represented human potential.
Yeah. Because he wasn't the biggest, he wasn't the most athletic. He was very athletic, but I mean, he wasn't the fastest guy.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he was picked just inside the lottery. He was like 13th or 12th, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Or 8th. I don't know. I know
He was late. He got drafted by Charlotte and traded to the Lakers. I remember that.
There was a really cool thing that I was watching. It was Allen Iverson and Kobe years ago talking and reflecting. It was after Kobe retired, actually, and they were reflecting on how like they were both drafted the same draft. And AI was like, oh, you know, I'm lucky I wasn't the one to the Lakers with Shaq, because then you would have been in Philadelphia and you wouldn't have won any rings. And Kobe's like, no, that wouldn't have happened. Like, Kobe said something like, what the he said something like he goes, we in the NBA, or AI was talking about how Kobe's remembered more than him because he has all the rings and stuff, and Kobe immediately responds with, Allen, everyone else in the world is just lucky that you weren't 6'5" like me, because you would never have stopped. And it's like, yeah, and that was the thing, was like, you know, they had that quote like, game recognizes game.
Yep.
And it's just crazy that he was like this ultra competitor on the court, but everybody still loved him.
Yep.
He was a very rough teammate. He was a very harsh competitor. The dude was he the Black Mamba, dude. And everybody still loved and respected him. And
yeah, well, he was undeniable. That's what I mean. You couldn't really, there was nothing you really had on him. Because he was just going to go out there and beat you.
Did you ever see that commercial, him and Jalen Rose, the fucking 81
Oh my
olives?
God, I fucking watched that this morning. Have you ever seen that?
Dude, that's so good.
The commercial starts and it's the camera's following Jalen Rose. Jalen Rose is the guy that Kobe dropped 81 on. And it follows Jalen Rose
Jesus,
walking
81.
through.
That's not even fair. That's like a whole
Right?
final score. Like,
No. And then, that was a different game. And then another game, he scored 61 through 3 quarters against the Mavericks. The Mavericks scored like 60 in those 3 quarters.
but you gotta understand that's like playing NBA 2K and only giving the ball to one player the entire game. Like
Yeah.
it's totally wild. Like how the fact that you can put up that many points in a game.
Yeah.
To even have that much play
especially
time.
in like 2002 or whenever it happened, 2003,
Yep.
like
81 is just
But so,
like
it goes
bizarre.
it cuts to Jalen Rose walking by this booth and Kobe's sitting there and he goes, "Hey Jalen, how's it going?" And they're talking back and forth and the waiter comes up and he goes, "Oh, Mr. Bryant, would you like something to drink?" He goes, "Yeah, I'll just take a martini." And he goes, "How many olives?" And he looks at Jalen Rose dead in the eyes and he goes, 81. And he goes, "Nah, I'm just kidding. One's fine."
That's wicked good.
I rewatched the puppet commercials with him and LeBron.
Oh, yeah. Dude, you ever see the Kobe system commercials?
Yes.
Dude, those are so good. And it's like, dude, I was watching those like, if you're one of those people who looks for like Illuminati imagery and shit, those commercials are fucking dripping in it.
Yeah. The Kobe system.
Yep. Like the logo is a fucking pyramid with the 2 fucking slanted lines like going
Oh, you're right.
over the top. And like the commercial, the audience is all like super rich, famous, powerful people. Shit is fucking crazy.
I still can't. I re-downloaded 2K today just to play.
Yeah, I thought about getting 2K20 because it's on sale or something. It's like $30.
And
I'd
rather
16.
I'd rather upgrade. I mean, upgrade 16 to 20 for sure.
I don't know. I hear 19 and 20 are kind of shot because they really shoved the monetization in there.
Yeah, that's
did.
what I heard.
They have ads in game that you can't skip. You pay $60 to watch unskippable commercials.
Yeah, if
That's
you play any
ridiculous.
of the online modes, because I only play offline.
I
so
would
it doesn't
only
give me
play like
ads.
be a pro or whatever, or like franchise.
Don't play career. My career. That's the one you have to pay for. Literally.
That's so
I did a
dumb.
my career.
I just feel like if it's I have 16, so it would have to be some sort of upgrade. Like
Oh, it
has
will
to
be.
Obviously
Go for
roster
18.
wise, but
18 is the last
But-
one I played, and I actually
I
had a lot of
probably
fun
could
with
get
it.
18
But
for
you're gonna want, like,
$15 used. Or
those
whatever.
servers are down though, so you're gonna want updated rosters.
But playing online is kind of beat anyway because,
Yeah.
like, if you just run into somebody who's good, they'll just jack up shots and just green every single
And I'm
one,
not
and you
good
can't
at 2K
fucking
'cause
stop them.
Yeah, I don't play.
I only
it,
play
really.
my league, where you are Adam Silver
Yeah.
and you like control all 30 teams, which is fucking sick.
I like the level of customization that they have, so you can just make your team entirely. You can customize the whole.
The cool
arena.
thing that I like about 19 is the player DNA. So like when you go to create a player,
Oh,
you can
right.
import another character's attributes
Oh,
and
shit.
stats.
So like
Dude,
certain
that's broken
guys,
now.
Yeah, it was showing like
Can't do that in today's league. Just make everyone be Luca.
yeah.
I did it with like I made a draft class today and I watched that thing with Kobe and I gave myself Allen Iverson's stats as a rookie, but then made him 6'5".
Oh my god.
And it's unfair. But it's a lot of fun.
That basically is Luka Doncic.
Well, I remember watching
True.
a review for it, and it was saying like you could do certain like stat bonuses where you can recover from rebounds quickly or like jumping quickly, so you
Yeah.
can jump again really quick with certain characters. I think that's cool. I mean, even Madden's doing that kind of
With
stuff
the
now.
X Factor thing.
Yeah.
They don't
But
have
you
that.
have to do that. It makes the character have a personality
Yeah.
instead of just feeling like a fucking, you know,
cookie
like,
cutter. It's just a new skin or a new name.
Because I mean, I don't know. I remember back in the day when they would just have they wouldn't even have player names and stuff like that. And I think we were talking about that recently, but
They wouldn't even have team names. It's just Portland versus Utah.
Yeah, but like I don't know. I haven't played really the 2K games very much. Like I never got good at them. So
yeah, I like playing just like 5v5 blacktop and just putting together like absolutely dumbass team compositions. Like I'll just run 5 fucking like skilled bigs. Like I'll just run Jokic, Giannis, AD, and it's fucking unstoppable.
it's weird for me because I grew up playing like NBA Jam and NBA Hang Time and like NBA Street, like all like the 3v3 or like 2v2 games. So like now when I play 5v5, it feels cluttered and like I don't really get the game enough to like run plays and stuff like that. Like I played basketball, but we ran basic plays and shit. It wasn't like.
Did you ever play NBA Ballers? It had fucking 1 versus 1 versus 1 mode.
Dude, NHL 10 has, or 20
possible?
has that.
Dude, it was just it's like your typical half court 1-on-1, but there's 3 people.
They should have there's 3 baskets.
Dude, that'd
That'd be
actually be sick.
hilarious.
NHL 10 has, or goddamn, I said it again. NHL 20 has that. I was hanging out with Zamaya last night. We were drinking and hanging out and playing.
It's got 3 nets.
It's got this game mode called NHL Ones, and it's 3 skaters on a half a rink, but they all score on 1 goal.
Oh, shit,
So when you
okay.
get the puck, you have to basically beat out the other 2 guys.
Yeah.
And it's only got like all-star players and then like celebrities like Adam Thielen, Juju Smith-Schuster, Kyle Lowry,
weird
Snoop Dogg is in it.
Of course Snoop Dogg's in it.
But yeah, and that mode we played that for like an hour and a half, like straight up just playing the NHL ones. 2K doesn't have any like they also have threes, NHL threes, where it's a half, it's a smaller rink. It's like a peewee size rink, and you do 3-on-3 with no defense. Well, you can have defense, but it's just 3-on-3. Everyone's assigned as a forward. And it's fun. 2K, you could do blacktop offline.
Oh, yeah, at least an 18.
Oh, shit. I might try that when I get home, because I didn't know you could do that.
I thought it was cool where you could like run around at the like parks, like the rec parks or whatever it was. You could like just join online games, just pick up games or whatever on there. That was kind of sick. Or you could just stand around and watch people play. I thought that was kind of cool. I miss like having, I don't remember which game it was, but you could have like, actually it might be 16 that had it, but you had like a house, or like not really a house, but like you had a private court and stuff like that, and you could practice there.
I don't know any of that.
Yeah, there was one of them that had that.
I remember
Sounds like NFL 2K.
Even Madden had it might have been NFL 2K that had those too. Like it was really cool. You could customize like the inside of the house and shit.
NFL 2K had the fucking celebrities you could play against their custom teams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that kind of shit just doesn't really exist anymore. And if it did, it would be DLC.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Doesn't work that very well.
No, that doesn't work ever. I got ESPN Plus because it's $5 a month or whatever.
Yeah.
I've been watching the 30 for 30 documentaries because they're all wicked fucking good. I watched the Ric Flair one, wicked good.
Dude, oh my god, I saw that, like, I think that's the one I saw. I almost fucking cried, dude.
They have one, Chuck Liddell and Tito Ortiz. That one's really good.
Oh shit.
I watched that one. That one was free on YouTube one day.
Yeah.
They actually...
The Jordan Rides the Bus is a good one too, where it goes through his baseball career and
Have
stuff.
you watched the Bad Boy Pistons yet?
No, I want to watch
That's
that.
the best one.
I remember watching Catching Hell, which is really good too. It's the Bartman one.
Yeah.
That one's good.
That one's
The
really
only one
fucking
I
good.
think, I mean, I think I've seen several of them. The one I really remember is the fucking... I don't even think I watched the whole thing, but the OJ one.
Oh, Made in America.
That's the one. That's one of the best ones.
Yeah, I heard that's really good too. There's a couple of like really.
Jimmy the Greek.
There's football ones I want to watch for sure.
I really enjoy the football life documentaries as well. The Walter Payton one and the LaDainian Tomlinson one.
Yeah.
30 for 30s, they're all really good though. They're so fucking well done.
Yeah.
But definitely watch the Bad Boy Pistons. That's I actually own that.
There's a
one.
Rodman one I want to watch too.
It's called
Dude, Dennis Rodman, what? That dude may
the
have
Rodman Missile
actually-
Crisis.
That dude low-key may have prevented World War III.
Yeah, he could have. Dude, the best thing was playing NBA Hang Time and being able to change his hair color. It was like he would press like a right C or whatever on the N64 controller and it would change his hair.
What is it, like the fucking, what is it, like WWF No Mercy? Like every hair color is a costume change.
Yeah, yeah. Speaking of that, Edge is back.
Edge
Oh
is
my
bad.
god, dude.
I freaked the fuck out. Because
That's
I
so
got
awesome.
home from Cassis right when the Royal Rumble started.
I didn't
Yo.
know that it happened in the Royal Rumble. I turned on Raw, and they were like, "Oh, Edge returns" or whatever. They had like a promo for it. He was gonna do like which he did. He did a thing with Orton, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I was like, "Oh my god, wait a minute, what happened?" So I immediately looked up the Royal Rumble like highlight, and I was like, "Holy shit!" Like I didn't know this happened. And then now he's like fucking back. Like
He's back.
actually back.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was like medically cleared or any of that shit. He had like fucking back surgery like 3 times. Or
Yeah,
some
well,
shit.
like,
We got like
it
that
was
stem cell treatment
The
or something.
conventional wisdom was if he ever took another bump, it could kill him.
Mm-hmm.
And they even, when fucking back during
Well,
that
Daniel
Seth
Bryan even
Rollins
had-
and John Cena feud,
Yeah.
like fucking Rollins basically had Edge hostage and he was gonna curb stomp him,
Mm-hmm.
and fucking like Cena talked about it, and then Rollins swears him like, "You know me better than that, John. I'm gonna kill him anyway."
Dude, like, I mean, the recovery is crazy now that you can, like, because Daniel Bryan came back.
Yeah.
And, I mean, guys can just come back now. And I don't know how old Edge is. He's probably
46, I think.
Mid-40s, yeah.
Yeah.
But, like, he still looked really good. In the
Yeah.
Royal Rumble, he came out, like, hot and, I mean, looked like he could move.
He looks fucking grizzled. Like, he reminds me of.
He was in good
fucking-
shape. I mean,
What is it? Kratos from the new God of War.
Yeah.
That's what he reminds me of.
Dude, that's fucked up. He's 46.
yeah, it's,
How did I know that?
Dude, you ever see what is a fucking. What is it? The Edge and Christian show on the network there?
Oh, yeah, we watched
Yeah.
That
that.
it's
shit
great.
is, like, legitimately good. Like, not even just by the WWE network
yeah,
standards.
yeah, that was one of the only ones I watched on there because it was that good. But like, I imagine he'll have a WrestleMania match since it's like in a month,
You know,
and so we're watching WrestleMania.
Yep.
But like, because I haven't watched in like a couple years, and he hasn't been.
He's been
in
gone for
WWE
8 years.
9 years. I
9
think.
years.
Yeah.
And it's like Jesus, like all of a sudden I'm all in again.
Yo, yeah.
Immediately, because like, it's like, I don't know. I was never really, because when I stopped watching, it was like maybe, I think the top guys were probably Rollins, Owens, Jinder Mahal was just getting his push. Like that was when I stopped watching.
it's funny because, like, you look back and Jinder Mahal obviously sticks out. Like, why on earth was he champion? But then you go back and you watch it, and, like, Jinder carried himself like a champion more than most people.
I mean, yeah, like he definitely, like, it was weird because he was a character like that you felt like didn't really feel like a character that could be pushed to that.
Yeah.
But like his charisma, like his ring ability too. You were like, oh well, yeah, he could be a champion, I guess. Like you
Yeah,
could
I mean,
do
it's
something.
not
with
like
this guy.
he's great at anything, but he's just, he's sufficient at fucking everything, really.
But you're also like, oh well, he could also just be a mid card guy that just hovers around.
Yeah.
But they were like, well, let's take a chance.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
I guess
that's-
I like. I mean, I like that.
Yeah, let's see if we can fucking grab India while we're here. Why not?
Right.
And then
They're
you can
fucking
get,
1 billion people.
then you can get Indian Joker.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure that's a reference to something, but I'm not sure what it is, but I have a general idea of where it might go.
Oh yeah, of course.
He's
But
the man.
I
Well,
just
because
think
I
it's-
stopped watching before all that. I literally quit when Edge retired. Because I only watched it for Sting. Well, that was WWF or ECW or whatever the fuck. I don't know.
WCW.
probably don't.
Then, oh my god, can you imagine if you were like an old school wrestling fan and like you didn't keep up with the fucking behind the scenes shit, and then you randomly turn into like SummerSlam and fucking Sting shows up?
Dude, that's how I felt because we watched Night of Champions together when he came back.
Goldberg.
Yeah.
You know? Like all
yeah.
all of a sudden, what's going on? This is Sting versus Goldberg in 2000. Like when was it? 14
Yeah.
or 15 or some shit. Like wait a minute, what year is this?
And then Sting had that fucking awful head injury. The Night of Champions match that
Yeah,
he
Yeah,
fought,
Rollins.
where he fucking like cracked.
I think he hit a turnbuckle or something.
Yeah, turnbuckle powerbomb.
Yeah, that's right. It's a dangerous move though.
And,
Yeah.
Dude, I just remember whenever Raw was. What's today? Tuesday.
last night.
Yeah, last night. The whole segment when Edge came out and had the thing with Orton, I was like, these guys, like the storytelling was just great. Like how Orton like dragged everything out, and there was such long periods of just suspense.
Yeah,
'Cause you're
that's
like-
that's Orton's fucking calling card.
And the crowd was so into it, and I was like, I'm back in.
Yeah.
Like,
Orton can
just that.
take 5 minutes worth of match and turn it into 15, for better or for worse.
But like you could tell that they were both veterans and they knew how to work the crowd.
Yeah.
And that's something that I think is missing from a lot of guys.
Because a lot of guys, I feel like they like plan out these matches.
Yeah.
Like, all right, I'm gonna do this fucking move,
It's
and then you're gonna
on-
do this,
it's
and
on rails.
that's not really how it's meant to work. It's like, well, the crowd's going ape shit for this, so I'm gonna start doing this, and
It's like playing 2K.
Well, when I was watching the Flair documentary, they talked about how good Flair was at like dictating a match and how he was good at not showing the crowd, like covering up all the communication.
Yeah.
And like being able to talk with his eyes, being
Yeah.
able to be like, oh, like just move his eyes a little bit, and the other guy would be like, oh, I know exactly what he wants me to do.
Yeah.
And it's something that like you have to have like inherently. It's
Yeah,
not really
that's-
something you learn.
I don't know, at least in American wrestling, that's largely fucking lost. It definitely exists a little bit more in Japan. Like, in Japan, basically the previous ace of the company, Hiroshi Tanahashi, he is the greatest of all time at actually, like, constructing a match
Right.
and working the crowd and shit. If every wrestler on your
He is.
roster was Tanahashi, you wouldn't need any road agents or anything to book matches.
And Tanahashi versus Tanahashi. Every match is the same.
Every match would be a 5-star banger.
Yeah, and they hype it up somehow every time. But like, I just there's a well, the thing is, American wrestling now is very focused on larger than life characters.
Yeah.
Whereas like back in the day, even WCW was like more focused on ring talent and actual work and things like that. And they certainly were starting to build characters that were like, you know, superheroes.
Yeah.
But that's what WWE was always doing, was building like Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
You know, he was just like the fucking a superhero. That
Is,
was kind of
uh,
the idea.
And is Tamagotchi Nakamura still a thing?
He does
Shinsuke
still.
Nakamura?
Tamagotchi.
He does still. He does still work. He
Yamanashi?
just had a match with Jericho at their WrestleMania, Wrestle Kingdom. It was actually really good.
Oh, he's not in the WWE anymore.
No, he was no.
No, Tanahashi has never left New Japan, I don't think.
No, the guy with the
Shinsuke?
violin, Shinsuke Nakamura. Is
Oh,
that his name?
Nakamura.
Yeah. Is
Yeah.
he still in the WWE?
Yeah, he's the U.S. champ right now.
I think it's a
or-
SmackDown. No, that kid that just came out of
Intercontinental.
NXT is the U.S. champ right now.
Oh,
That
okay.
kid from NXT.
Here's my question. Who the fuck is Drew McIntyre?
Oh, Drew McIntyre. He was in 3MB with Heath Slater and Jinder.
Yeah, and he was doing TNA or something for a while.
Yeah, he went over to TNA. He was a top guy over there. He was really fucking good over there. He showed up, he came back, ended up in NXT. He was NXT champ for a minute. I think he actually got hurt in his title match and couldn't defend the belt, but he was really good there. And then they put him up to the main roster and basically just made him a big dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get so worried.
He's fighting Brock now
Yep.
for the championship.
Yeah, well, I get so worried when I see guys like in NXT that are just wearing tights, regular tights.
Yeah,
Yo.
exactly.
That's it. They just look like a generic, like, create a wrestler.
Yeah.
And
Yo.
fucking...
Dude, he came out during the Royal Rumble and people freaked the fuck out, and I'm like, who the fuck is this guy?
But he's a big dude, and, like, he has a presence.
He can go. He can definitely fucking
Yeah.
go.
He reminds me of, like, if you took Roman Reigns and put him in just generic tights.
Yo.
You know? But
He's
he
like
has...
if Chris Hero actually looked like a wrestler and not just some jerk off they pulled off the couch.
Right. But, like, I always, like, when I see a guy that's just in tights, like, I'm like, well, I don't know, like, where's your character? It doesn't show me, I don't know, there's no visual appeal to it.
The only
Goldberg,
dude who got away with that, at least in NXT, is fucking Aleister Black. And that's just because, like,
Yeah.
that dude's fucking, his whole character, his character's drawn on him.
Yes, yeah. I mean, Neville. I mean, it's like if you can perform in the ring, you'll stand out. But it's like, I don't know. There's just guys that just kind of like don't appeal to people. I mean, there's guys that have done it. Kurt Angle never had that much of it. Well, he had the singlet or whatever. That was like his thing. But there was certain guys like Goldberg or even Steve Austin.
As soon as you said
personality.
Kurt Angle, I just immediately hear his fucking theme song.
Dude, fucking Keith Lee is big deal down in NXT right now, and he showed up in the Survivor Series match and in the Rumble, and that dude's already over his shit, and he's just a generic looking big fat black guy, but he's just so fucking good, and like it's not even like he has that like outward charisma, it's just more him just being himself in the just the way he moves around and shit. It's just like physical charisma.
I think it's all about getting a lot of it's about getting a feel for your character, and I don't think guys like get invested in their character as much anymore because they get it given to them. Whereas like if you develop your character, I think you're a little bit more free and you're a little bit more like invested in your own character.
Yeah.
Whereas like if Vince just goes, you're gonna be this guy. Although fucking Undertaker took it and ran with it, you know. There's guys that can do it.
Yeah, dude,
I mean,
Keith
Undertaker
Lee's
took
finisher.
he took a fucking gimmick that was kind of dumb, and then he's like, I'm going all in on this. I know how to make it work, and it fucking did work. Because Undertaker's a fucking legend.
Yeah, I gotta run the thing.
But like, I don't know. I stopped watching because I know like a lot of wrestling is predictable as hell now because I've watched it for so long, you know. But like then I was like, oh, Edge. So.
Yeah, that's what Zamaya and I were talking about yesterday because we were just sitting there, we were hanging out, and I was like, dude, you wouldn't believe what happened after. Like, we were talking about Kobe, and then I was like, the only good thing that happened yesterday, I go, Edge came back, and he looks at me and he goes, what did you say? And I'm like, Edge came back, and he goes, what? Like to like
as like a promo,
as like a promo or something? I'm like, no, dude. I go, he came back and he eliminated like 6 dudes in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
And
when
then,
I saw him that he came back, I was like, oh, he just came back for the Rumble, right? And then I saw that he was doing a thing on Raw. And I was like, "Oh,
dude, I'm on board. I have to watch now."
And with Orton, the Orton thing, because like he came out and Orton, because they used to tag team, like what was it?
Lita.
No. I don't remember what it was called. Damn, I don't know. Bill would not remember what they called the tag team.
Oh man, I wish it was here.
Yeah, it's a shame Bill's not here.
Damn. Flaked again.
But they
He's
were gonna
probably playing golf.
They had this like Orton was like, "Oh, I'm gonna, you know, maybe we should get back together or whatever, do this tag team thing." And then Orton RKO's him, because he's Orton. Like, I knew it was going to happen at some point. But a feud between those two is awesome because Orton's a veteran, still can work, and he knows how to tell stories. So
It edges back, which means that no matter what, he's going to get a huge push.
yeah, he has to. Yeah, that's main event caliber immediately.
Yeah.
But
Every
it won't
pay-per-view.
be. It'll probably be Lesnar or some shit in the main.
He'll be a dark match for WrestleMania.
Yeah. They don't show it.
Well, now that's the thing. Is like they blew their load with the Royal Rumble. Who the fuck is coming back for WrestleMania? Like, who's on the list? Is there a list of predictions? There's got to be one on like Squared Circle, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sure there'll be somebody. They tend to throw somebody in at WrestleMania, even if it's just a veteran, just to do a match, like a single match. I don't know. I mean, I haven't heard any rumors because I haven't been paying much attention to it. But yeah, I guess Squared Circle's probably the spot. I really haven't even looked at the like WrestleMania matches, like what's slated for it. But I don't care, to be honest. I just want to see Edge. And I wonder if they'll have a match before WrestleMania, or if they'll drag it out.
Oh, he's got to.
Storyline wise.
Well, WrestleMania isn't until April, right?
Yeah, or late March sometimes. Maybe early April. But I just remember growing up and like, you know, like that was the big thing was Edge and Christian, the Hardy Boys. I mean, one of my favorite matches was at what is it? WrestleMania X8, I think it was. And it was the Hardy Boys versus Edge and Christian. And it was one of the craziest matches I'd ever seen because like it was Jeff Hardy was jumping off the ladder through the table on the outside, and like they did a bunch of crazy spots in that match. And those two tag teams like together just had such like chemistry.
Was that when Edge fucking speared him off the ladder?
Yeah,
It might have been that, or that might have been the 3-way with those two and the Dudley Boys.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it was that one. And it was one of those WrestleManias. I remember WrestleMania 18 had a really fucking good one. And it was a ladder match. They're usually ladder matches. What was the team between Orton and Edge? What were they called?
Rated RKO.
Rated RKO. That's right.
That's so sick. They should just come back anyway. Do WrestleMania and then have Rated RKO show up for SummerSlam and then just do what I want them to do. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Just
like,
do everything that Jake said.
that's why I love like WWE 2K when you do universe mode.
You
and
just do everything that Jake
everything that
says.
you want to
Yeah.
do.
I usually just do everything that Jake says
Yeah.
when I do it.
It's like AJ Lee versus Big Show.
Yeah. Well, it's a shame. AJ Lee could have done some more shit, and I don't know what the fuck her deal was.
AJ Lee versus AJ Styles in a first name on a pole match.
Yeah. That could be like, I would imagine WCW would do that kind of shit.
Yup.
Because they had wild fucking matches trying to just get over.
AJ Lee versus Hulk Hogan in a first one to drop the hard R match.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Hulk Hogan wins.
Oh, fucking bullshit. Hogan always going over.
Yeah, Kobe's dead, dude.
Kobe died.
But I'll tell you what, he will live on forever.
Whenever anyone throws anything.
Via people throwing paper into their trash cans.
And it really is like, it tells you something. Like, LeBron may be the bigger player, he might be more famous, but kids are not shouting
Nobody goes,
LeBron when they
"LeBron."
throw their homework in the fucking waste
there was a
basket.
Chappelle Show bit about that, right?
Yeah. The fucking sex contract. I just watched that today too.
That's so good.
He's like, initial here for oral.
Spreewell.
Oh my god. Dude, Spree.
Does that mean you're supposed to? Does that mean you're supposed to yell Malone when you're committing statutory rape?
Oh man.
Oh,
Mailman.
I'll deliver you something. Takes 9 months. and then another 18 years for me to talk to it.
Through rain or hail or sleet or snow.
Yeah, my childhood took a hit and a boost at the same time on Sunday.
Yeah, same.
Like, like dropped you way down, and then Edge is like, "I'll save you."
Yeah.
But Jericho's the real savior. Hashtag save us Y2J. I think Jericho still might be probably my favorite.
Yeah,
just 'cause Jericho's.
he has a legitimate argument for being the best ever.
The GOAT, yeah.
Well, I already thought he is, though. Like, I mean, you have like your John Cena's and Steve Austin and Sting and Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair and Edge and HBK.
God, Jericho was just good at
HBK is
everything.
another
Dude.
good
Jericho was pushing 50. In WWE, he had basically already transitioned to where he leaned more on his character work than his in-ring. And he randomly shows up in Japan challenging Kenny Omega and turns around and puts on absolute bangers.
And he still does. I mean, AEW still, like, they have good matches. I mean,
Yeah.
Kenny Omega's over there too, so.
Yeah.
But it's like, god damn, that guy was just like, I felt like Jericho just could work the mic so well.
Yo.
And it wasn't like, he didn't have, I mean, he had catchphrases, but it wasn't like The Rock where he does the same catchphrase for fucking 15 years.
Yo.
He comes up with, he reinvents himself constantly. And
That's
he
the
was
biggest
so
thing.
good at that too.
He was always just Jericho.
But he could always get something over. It didn't matter what he fucking
Yo.
said.
Dude, the fucking list.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
List-
going to be one people look back on years from now. Like,
Yeah.
this was one of the last good things WWE did.
Yeah, and it was like after a period where like Jericho was like kind of on the decline, and then he just came back and he was like, "This is it." Like with Kevin Owens too, to help put Kevin Owens over. It was perfect.
Yeah.
It's probably one of my favorite Jericho periods, I would imagine.
Oh, yeah.
But it was just, I mean, even Jericho's debut is just something I watch all the fucking time.
Yeah.
'Cause-
Dude, he made a fucking catchphrase out of calling Stephanie McMahon a trash bag hoe.
That's what I mean. He can say whatever he wants, and then people have signs with it on the next week, you know?
Brutal. Bottom feeding.
But there were guys, you know, when you do some like submission signature moves, you have to be able to sell that with your expressions, and that was something Flair like was talking about in his documentary there, because you know he was so good at that, like overselling and making people believe that shit hurt, and that's why he was so good with the figure four. Was like it was. And then they'd flip him over. It's such a cool finishing move. The submission finishers are always like some of my favorite ones.
That's another thing that a lot of people don't get nowadays is like when you're in the ring and you're like selling something, you're not just selling for the TV cameras or the guys in the front row.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be doing shit so that the people
everyone
sitting
can
all
see
the
it.
way up in the nosebleeds know what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Because otherwise they're just watching the fucking Titantron.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, you might as well just be at home at that point.
Yeah.
Because I remember watching like footage of the Royal Rumble from like people's phones.
Yeah.
And you really can't see that much of the ring.
No.
You're really just watching the Titantron.
Yeah.
Which,
Yeah, I was watching footage of fucking Royal Rumble debuts and returns and shit. And there's fucking AJ Styles' debut from the crowd.
yeah.
And you just see, you're like all the way up in the nosebleeds. You just see the crowd going nuts. One little dot walking towards the ring. And all these other dots in the front row just like bowing down. And it's like, that's...
Yeah. I love watching, like, when you watch it on, like, a broadcast and you see, like, the crowd turn their heads towards the ramp.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, shit, someone's coming.
Yeah.
It's going to be something big.
Just that buzzer for the Royal Rumble.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
"Brrr," and then everybody looks to see who it is.
Yeah, and then there's just a silence for a second.
And then it's just MVP and nobody laughs. Or everyone laughs. Everyone laughs. Everyone laughs and nobody claps.
Yeah. The crowd just no-sells it.
Yeah.
Dude, a while back...
That edge pop was so
MVP.
hit.
MVP was the leader of a heel faction in TNA, and the whole thing, they were actually great. It was like him,
Mr.
I
Kennedy.
think low key Kenny King, and I believe, it was. Yeah, him, Kenny King, and I think low key, and then they brought in Lashley as their muscle.
Yeah.
And that
Kenny
was the
King
best
was-
run of Lashley's career.
I felt like Kenny King was underrated too.
Yeah.
Isn't
Apparently he
Lashley
was
still
a
killing it right
nightmare
now,
to
though?
work with in real life, though, so he never fucking really got anywhere.
He was such a good athlete though.
He has his finisher, the Royal Flush, that's like one of my favorite moves of all time. It's like the F5, but instead of just dropping them on their face, you have them fucking, they fall back basically into the fucking rock bottom landing.
Yeah.
It's fucking insane.
I thought Bobby Lashley was still killing it though.
I mean, he's not bad. They gave him nothing to work with. The most compelling storyline he's had so far is cuckolding Rusev.
Dude, it's just
Is
so
he the huge black
fascinating.
guy?
Yeah. It's
The one that's
fascinating
like super
when,
athletic and quick and
Yes,
shit?
yeah.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying, though. It's very
was-
fascinating when I see big dudes that are jacked up and that are still fucking able to move and agile.
Yeah.
I
Like,
feel like
Lesnar
he's
was
not the one I'm thinking of.
I mean, when you watch Lesnar in the UFC, you're like, this guy's gigantic. How is he going to be able to... He's not going to be fast, right?
Yep.
And then immediately he charges after whoever he's fighting.
Yeah, and that really showed in his UFC debut, like, before he actually
Did he
fought.
debut
like,
against Heath Herring?
No, I don't think so. His first fight... Oh, maybe it was... Yeah, I think his first fight was Heath Herring, and then the second was the title match against
Yeah, because
Frank
they
Mir,
shot
I
him to the
think.
moon immediately. They were like,
Yeah.
we're putting you in with Mir.
Yeah,
And then Mir footlocked him.
yeah, Mir
and-
did Mir things.
Yeah. He got his ass beat, actually, and then ended up with a knee bar. But then fought him again and just got absolutely annihilated.
Yeah, that second fight between Mir and Lesnar was legitimately scary.
Yeah.
Like, I thought I was about to watch a dude fucking die.
Yeah. Like, dude, Lesnar hammer fisting me is not something I'd ever want.
No. And that's the thing, is like when he started his UFC career, everyone thought he's just going to be this giant, slow powerhouse who's going to just crumble dudes
Oh
with
no,
one
I'm
shot.
I'm thinking of somebody completely different. I'm sorry.
And then he gets out there and he's like pure speed and athleticism, just like shooting in on people before they even know what's going on.
Yeah.
I was thinking of Apollo Crews.
Okay,
oh,
yep.
yeah. He's a good athlete.
He's one of
Yeah.
my favorites.
And he's a big dude, too.
Well, the first who the fuck did I see him? It wasn't his first WWE event, but it was fucking forever ago too, though, because I haven't watched him forever. It was like at least more than a year ago, but he was just pulling off all these crazy like technical takedowns and like like just literally flying around the ring, and he was like 3 times the size of the guy that he was in the ring with. Maybe it was he ever in NXT? Maybe it was then.
Most likely.
Yeah.
But I'm like the worst WWE factoid person. I got a lot of stuff from like 99 to 05, and then I got stuff from like 09 to 11, and then Edge is back.
For a second, I thought you were thinking of Leo Rush, but Leo's fucking tiny.
I think Apollo Crews is probably who you're...
Apollo Crews is who I'm thinking of as soon as I saw his name.
Right.
Because Bobby Lashley is another wicked great fucking
Dude, it's so
crazy
weird.
athletic guy.
The
Yeah.
But Apollo
transition,
Crews-
though, like the transition from WWE to MMA and then the opposite
Yeah.
is so weird because some guys just are really fucking good either way.
A lot of MMA dudes turn out to be naturals.
Yeah.
Fucking Matt Riddle.
Cain Velasquez is really good in the ring.
And Kane got really good really quick, too. Like, he had a debut down in Mexico, and he was fucking... He shows up in a goddamn lucha mask with horns, and he's pulling off fucking Hurricane Ranas and shit.
Yeah. And that's a guy who was a heavyweight champion.
Yeah, and that's a dude who, like... he respects lucha libre and he actually wanted to do it right, do it the way they really do it instead of just getting that payday.
And I got to give Rousey credit too, because she's actually gone in and been a regular, not like a part-timer or some shit, like just for hyping up fights.
I thought she was gone though.
She is now.
Right now, yeah.
She has been for like a year since last WrestleMania.
When she came in, she made it a point to be like, I don't want to be treated special. And that's something that you gotta, I like that. Because you don't have to say that. You can just get shot to the moon and ride with it.
Yep. Dude, Matt Riddle down in NXT, that dude he was like the top guy on the indies for like a year before he went to NXT. Mm-hmm. And he really just got it. He just made that transition almost seamlessly.
Yeah. And, CM Punk, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
He was a savage.
If you guys could bring back any pro wrestler from our childhoods in their prime and drop them in right now, who would you pick and what do you think that you would have them do?
From our childhoods. Well, I don't know. That's different because we have two completely different childhood time periods.
Yeah, you're old as fuck.
You know who I think I might bring back who would like specifically fit in nowadays? Fucking Bam Bam Bigelow.
Yeah, he was pretty fucking savage.
Yeah.
That dude was doing moonsaults and shit. And he's like 300 pounds.
Yeah, I mean, Lesnar tried the shooting star press, I'm pretty sure, but he almost died, so.
Either him or Vader.
Yes, Vader was fucking so nasty.
Yeah.
And he gets overlooked a lot, too.
Yeah.
I think Mick Foley, honestly. Just because Mick Foley was good at everything, man. And, like, he would just put everybody over and take every bump ever that there ever was.
Yep.
He's like, oh, you're going to hit me with what?
True.
Hit me with blank, and that's Mick Foley's entire career.
Yep. And dude, he even back in ECW for a minute, his whole gimmick was like anti-hardcore. And that's a fucking every like deathmatch or hardcore fed goes back to that gimmick, but nobody ever does it as well as Mick Foley did because he had that extra hook to it. Like, I came up doing this, I put my body on the line every night, only for you guys, the fans, to keep being even more bloodthirsty, want to just see me kill myself even worse. So fuck that and fuck you.
Right. Dude, even like the mid-card guys back then would probably be top guys now. You could make them top guys, I think. Like Al Snow. If you just took Al Snow, you could push him right now and he'd probably be pretty big. I would imagine, just his gimmick.
Yeah. And like, the dude could go in ring, like even in an era when most other people couldn't go that well.
Yeah. I mean, Al Snow, I'm pretty sure he does like a bunch of training at the performance center or whatever.
Yeah.
Eugene, obviously.
As soon as you said performance center, I was like, he's gonna say Eugene.
Dude, Eugene is like the fucking low-key legend. Back in whatever they were using for their development federation, Eugene was their champ like 9 times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you have to, dude. I mean, how are you going to not give that guy the belt all the time?
It's just funny. They're like, oh, like you meet Eugene on the street and they're like, oh, hi, sir, you're very muscular and large. What do you do for a living? He's like, oh, I play a retarded guy on TV.
The Rock!
The Rock!
Dude, I saw a couple episodes. TNA basically ran a subsidiary promotion out of India, and they had Eugene over there working a doctor gimmick.
That's hilarious.
That's like the biggest contrast I can imagine.
Yeah, he can pull shit off, though. Triple H! Dude, I just can't get over that they made that a character. Like, it's just hilarious.
Right? And then they actually, like...
They gave him segments with, like, big names.
Yeah.
Like,
they made
fucking
compelling angles out of it.
Yeah.
Well, like when they had fucking...
Because you felt bad for him.
they had Regal turn face to stick up for him against Triple H, and it was like one of the best fucking promos and then matches of Regal's career.
Yeah.
I'm totally biased, but I would like to bring back Sting just for because he was like he was like a different version of the Undertaker.
Yeah.
And I feel
I
like
think Shawn Michaels would be up there too.
He was basically the Crow.
yeah.
Yes. That's
Shawn
where
Michaels
he
is
pulled
another
the whole gimmick from, I think.
Yeah. But like
But Shawn Michaels definitely as well.
Oh, for sure. But
Yeah.
fucking there was something I loved about Sting whenever he would just like any given show there was a chance for the lights to just go out. You hear the Ravens, and then all of a sudden, boom, he's in the
That
ring.
was a cool thing about
Yep.
The Undertaker, too, was
Yeah,
that you didn't know
Undertaker
when it
had
was
the
going to
same-
happen. And Bray Wyatt did it for a while, too.
Yeah.
Like where they just shut the lights off, and then you didn't know which match it was going to be because he was unpredictable enough to be like, I'm going to pick a fight with this guy all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And I like if hypothetically if I could be in the WWE, I'd want to be a guy like that. Like the person that everybody's terrified of. You show up like once every 3 months. You beat the shit out of whoever.
And you always get a pop because
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like
That's
the
actually
boogeyman.
like
yeah,
that's what I know. It's almost a different take on that they're doing with Bray Wyatt now. It really is like a whole different spin on it. Like they almost made him a fucking horror movie monster.
The Fiend.
yeah, he does that. What the fuck is it called? The
Mandible Claw.
the show that he does.
Oh, yep.
Camp WWE.
No, it's a like he
The
does
Playhouse.
Yeah, something Playhouse. I don't remember. But he does like this weird segment now.
Well, I'm gonna go back on what you said. I would bring back HBK immediately. Because
Triple H. And
whenever
those
I think of
guys.
Shawn Michaels, I immediately think of when he trolled. Was it Toronto? Where was
my
Owen
God,
Hart
yo.
from? Well, it was Toronto, right?
Yep.
Where he had this whole feud. Not Owen Hart.
Was that during
Bret-
DX?
Bret Hart.
Was it during the DX? Like,
it was
era?
I
after
don't
that.
think so.
But he had this whole feud going on with Bret Hart, and Shawn Michaels showed up unannounced to Raw that week and just roasted Toronto for like 5 minutes. And then he had them play Bret Hart's entrance music. And he just sat there with his arms crossed, like, yep.
That was the cool thing about those two, him and Triple H, was like they could be like the stern, like badass, hard dudes, but they also had DX where they would just goof off and like fuck with people.
Yeah, and that was the thing. Bret in Canada was basically like Hulk in America. Like,
Yeah.
he is a legitimate national fucking
Yeah.
hero.
Yeah, it's so like I don't know. Wrestling's weird because you can get these characters.
I'm from
that
Winnipeg, you idiot.
You can get characters that are just larger than life, and it's like you understand that it's not real to an extent. It's choreographed, but you also get invested in it because of the storytelling.
Yeah.
That's what really matters. It's essentially a men's soap opera, is what it is.
Pretty much.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's there's a word for it. Oh
Men's soap opera. Is that the word?
no, I can't remember what it is now.
Wrestling. Is that what it is?
No, there was like a thing I read. It was like the WWE and other professional wrestling organizations are like the last bastion of theatrical performance art.
Like melodrama?
No, like like performance art where you have to buy into it to enjoy it.
Yeah, a suspension of
True.
disbelief.
Yeah.
But
Maybe it's
like
not
that-
performance art, but you know what I mean. Like you have to realize, okay, I'm basically watching like a TV
show. Yes, that's what it really is.
Yeah.
But it's just that it happens to be live,
Yeah.
which is cooler to me. Like that's anything could happen.
And that's why
You
like
think you
the
know me?
first season of Lucha Underground was such a big deal because that threw other things in the mix that nobody had ever thrown in there before.
They started to make it like a TV show.
It started out as like a cross between wrestling and a fucking Robert Rodriguez movie. And then it became those two crossed with Dragon Ball Z. And then after that, later in the season, it became that crossed with DBZ, crossed with fucking Lost.
Yeah, they got like...
They had a smoke monster?
They had Monster. They had the fucking... Dude, they had Matanza Cueto eating people.
Yeah, they literally had a... Like, they had him off screen, but like, they would like feed him shit, like in like the end parts of the show.
Yeah, they would feed him jobbers.
And then you just hear it like eating people.
Dude, Lucha Underground was
it might be on
fucking
Netflix
ridiculous.
still. Like I
don't think it is.
It had a deal with Netflix for a little while.
Yeah, I think it's still on iTunes. Actually, does iTunes even still exist? I feel like they just
they
announced
turn it into
they
like
were cutting it.
They keep turning it into like Apple Video and Apple Music, and they like branched them all out into these weird like subscription services. Well, it's whatever makes money, though, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless you're Google Stadia.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I heard that's turning into a shit show. Like it's radio silence on like new shit from it, I guess.
It's been released officially for 61 days, and there hasn't been an update or a patch on the actual system.
It'll
in
go
41 days.
It'll drop
It's
off.
a Google product.
fuck?
It's a Google product that they didn't make on their own. So obviously it's gonna die.
Well, Google does a lot of like those things like that just kind of disappear.
Yeah.
Like Google Glass.
Google like Duo.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, it was like a video chat, like Skype.
Google. What was the one where you had Google Circle? Google People.
Plus Google
Plus.
That was great. Google Plus was actually designed really well, and it probably would have been great like to use and everything, but it was a matter of no one wants to transition and use something else really.
Google
I feel
Plus was such a disaster, it almost slowed fucking YouTube down a little bit.
Yeah, because they were trying to connect the accounts together, which they kind of have. They've made your Google account basically every account, which I like. I can just go, like, anytime I sign up for a website, I can just be like, oh, sign in with Google. Boom, it's using that email address that I always use anyway. Links my same password. But, like, they basically had this... I don't know, like, the way that the circles worked and all that shit on Google Plus was weird.
Yeah.
But it felt like it would have worked out if people actually used it.
Yeah, and if they hadn't fucking pissed people off trying to force it on them.
Yeah. Yes, that's part of the problem.
Yeah, it's like when iTunes made everybody download that fucking album for U2.
Yeah.
They made everybody download an album?
Yeah, you just woke up one day and get
just
on
have the
iTunes and
U2
you
album.
had a U2 album that you never asked for.
So just a sponsored album, basically.
Yeah.
And they just assumed, like, oh, people won't complain. It's fucking free. It is. Do you not know people?
Yeah, you'd be surprised.
It was
I
a
would
good
think
album, too. Like, in hindsight.
That's
I
what's
don't know,
weird. If I was
But
U2, I'd be
you
like...
just said it was a U2 album.
True.
If I was U2, though, I'd be concerned with it. Because you would think that people would be like, oh, fuck U2. Why are they doing this?
Yeah.
Because you don't know how much of it is U2 and how much of it is Apple. But it's obviously an agreement. They decided to do that.
Yeah. Because U2 seems to have this belief that they're on that level.
Nope.
I don't know if they are.
Yeah, they're basically the Apple
They thought they
of-
was Kobe.
They're basically the Apple of music, dude.
They thought they were Kobe, but they're really Paul Pierce.
Oh, U2 shits themselves.
Oh yeah, Paul Pierce is a guy who like had a good career, and then people
Isn't that good?
Yeah, like people were like, oh wait, who was that guy?
Yeah.
He just so happened to luck into having Kevin Garnett, Tony Allen, Kendrick Perkins, and Ray Allen join his
Rondo.
team and Rondo join his team in the same 2-year span,
Yeah.
and they won a title.
Yeah.
And they act like they're the fucking Showtime Lakers. All
Yeah.
those players do. Kevin Garnett, I'll give a pass to because he's one of the best ever.
Garnett was amazing.
But like
Yeah.
Paul Pierce and Rondo specifically are the biggest pricks. They put so much weight into that one ring they won.
Yeah.
They were favorites to win for like 4 years in a row. They only made it to the finals twice. They lost to Kobe the second time. Or no, the first time. No, the second time.
Yeah, I think it was the second time.
And it's like they act like they won like 6 in a row. It's like Paul Pierce, dude. Like you're a solid in 2K. You are a solid 89 overall.
Yeah.
Like if you're the best player on my team, okay, cool. But if you're the second best player on my team, I know that I have a good team.
Yeah. One of my favorite pieces of sports banter I've ever heard. Someone once said to me, if you took Kobe Bryant's talent and put it in LeBron James's body, you would have the greatest player ever to play the sport of basketball. If you took LeBron's talent and put it in Kobe's body, you'd have Paul Pierce.
Yeah. Literally.
That seems so accurate.
That's very accurate. Because you have a guy that's like pretty good at everything, but he's not big enough to capitalize on it. And Paul Pierce was still pretty big. He was like 6'7", 6'6".
Well, you also wonder, too, how much having those guys around him took away from what he was able to do.
Well,
right?
it's not so much that they took away from it because Paul Pierce is a Hall of Famer and he's a great player. I mean,
Sure.
but like,
But I'm saying, like, there's more options you can get the ball
right.
to.
But
and-
no, my biggest point is that they act like total assholes when they talk down to other players as if they were like a dynasty when they only won one ring.
That's the thing is with basketball, I feel like if you have just a really good team overall, like the Warriors, you are at a point where you can get the ball to anybody. There's a bunch of outlet passes, and you
The
can.
Warriors are a very wrong, point to make though, because they're bullshit.
Yeah, that's true.
Dude,
I
way
would say,
back in
like,
the
You
I
don't
would
have
say-
one central player that you're
Oh,
all
yeah,
built
yeah, yeah.
around. You know, like you don't have one
Like
guy.
like if
that's-
you were like the Pistons in 05, where you just have like 7 dudes that are pretty good,
right.
or 6 guys that are pretty. Well, I mean, plus Ben Wallace.
Oh yeah,
Chris
Ben Wallace.
Ben Wallace.
He just murdered. He just murdered Paul Pierce on the court. Well, that's why they call the crippling crossface a finisher, Marv.
The crippler.
But that's the thing too. Like with basketball, is like that's the one thing that pisses me off about it is that if more players took a backseat.
Yeah, the problem I have with it is like they have too much control over where they can go.
Yeah, that too.
If that wasn't the case, I think I'd probably watch it more.
Well, you can't get invested into a team.
Yes, that's why it's hard for me because I was a Bulls fan and I don't really know if I can get invested in the Bulls knowing that like there's not much of a shot.
No.
You know?
my
Oh, there's
God.
absolute zero
Like,
shot.
Yeah.
who's even their best player? You got,
Zach LaVine,
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought.
who's
like,
pretty good.
Either Levine or who's it, like Laurie Markkanen?
Yeah,
Yeah, whoever that guard is there.
LaVine.
Yeah, good player. It's like you just feel like you're not even in the conversation in any way.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you're not.
So it's
There's no any given Sunday for basketball.
Yeah.
And it's just like with the NHL too, like with the playoffs, any team can win the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
We've seen it. We've seen an 8 seed win since we've been kids, since I've been watching hockey. I've seen an 8 seed win, a 7, a 6,
Yeah.
multiple underdogs. Like
Just this past season, it's never getting more underdog than that. The Blues on January 1st were the last place team in the entire NHL.
Yep.
And from then on, they went on a tear, made it into the playoffs, and then won the whole fucking thing.
you will never see that in the NBA.
No.
You will never see that in the NBA.
yeah.
You'll
Just
never
get hot
see
at
it.
a certain point. It doesn't really happen
like,
because
The closest we've seen was the Miami Heat being last place in the East, and then from the All-Star break on climbed up to like 6th, and then they won their first round, and then still got swept by Boston the second round.
Yo.
I think that was 2 years ago, where they went like fucking 26-3 or something in their final games,
Yeah.
and then And that's what I love about football so much, which leads me to
Yes, it's like you don't know. Like
Super
you could
Bowl
be
predictions.
playing the worst team in the league in the NFL and still lose.
Yep.
You could be the best team in the league and still lose the worst team
We
in the
saw
league.
that in 07 when the Giants beat the Patriots.
Yeah.
We saw the worst team in the league lose to the best
I think
team in the
Alabama
league.
could have beaten the Giants.
Fucking flaming
I
fag.
don't know. That's always that always
fucking
turns
argument.
into a big debate.
Fucking hate that argument.
it's like-
you couldn't even take the best college football players of that year and have them even be competitive with the worst NFL team of that year. You couldn't do it. You could not do
any
it.
No, they're still
NFL
NFL
team
players.
is a college all-star team plus several years of coaching and development.
Yeah. I mean, if you're in the NFL, you're fucking high level. There's
you
no-
were if you make the league at all, you were like the top
Yeah.
5% of college players minimum.
Yeah. Think about how many guys come out of college football every year.
Yeah.
And then the
255.
sheer number that get drafted, good chunk of them get drafted, but then how many make the roster after they get drafted? 7th rounders that like are just fucking maybe practice squad guys,
Yeah.
you know?
I hated that argument when like the Browns went 0-16 and the Alabama won the title.
Yeah.
They were like, Alabama could have beat. No, they couldn't have. Could they? No, they couldn't have. Sorry.
Any given Sunday, dude.
Miles Garrett would have murdered all of your players in one play with his own helmet.
Yeah.
Oh, that pissed me off. It's like,
Oh yeah, you're a Browns fan.
yeah,
Why do you have a Bucks hat?
because I'm a Bucks fan.
Have you always
Because
been a
those are
Bucks
different
fan?
leagues.
Yeah, it's about 10 years now.
Oh.
Before Giannis, so
I was gonna say
it
you and
counts.
I are like in the same boat. Then we're both fans of teams that have been pretty bad when we were fans,
Yep.
and now they're good. And now I don't wear a Clippers hat because I don't want people to do this to me. What I'm
Yeah.
doing to you.
The
Which
last
is
time
call
I
you out.
remember, I had already been a fan for a couple years, but I remember at one point the Bucks had like 3 Syracuse players on their roster at the same time. I think it was like right when Michael Carter Williams came out. So probably like that would have been, I think, a year or two before Giannis got drafted. And it's like I got on this bandwagon right at the right time because now
What?
we have the best fucking basketball player on the fucking planet.
Yeah,
What was it that made you choose that team, though? I always wonder, like, because I know it's very strange when you, like, as a sports fan, you would think the most logical thing would be
be
to
a
whoever's
local team.
your state or or the closest to you, right? So you would think you would just be a Bills fan and you would be like a New York Knicks fan or some shit, a New York team. But I know there's so many fans that are Cowboys fans, Packers fans. It's like, where do you get? There's something that happened that caused you to become a fan
mine
of
I
that
can
team.
explain very easily. At least for the Cowboys. Where the fuck did you get the Packers from?
My dad didn't like the Packers, because the Packers would always beat the Cowboys, and it still happens. So, but I always used to play as the Packers in all the games because he was like talking about how he hates the Packers. So I would always play the Packers.
See, and mine's the opposite. Is my dad was a Cowboys fan, so he was like, "If you're gonna watch football with me, you're gonna be a Cowboys fan." And I was like, "Okay." And
But then I like grew to like the fact that Green Bay was just sort of a small town and they're fan owned. They don't have an owner and all that shit. And I just liked the idea of the franchise because it was different. They're not. Every other team has an owner.
Yeah.
It felt like the community itself was invested. It felt like if Oswego just had a football stadium in the middle of it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which brings me, Bill. Why the fuck are you a Browns fan? Are you just depressed? Do you need to talk?
No, it was basic back then. It's basic. My 2 favorite colors are orange and brown. They had the SU connection with Jim Brown, Ernie Davis, and they had the old school, like, retro style uniforms, which I was really big on. So they just had everything going for them. And then I thought about it a few years later. I'm like, it makes absolutely no goddamn sense that I'm not a Bills fan. The buffalo is my favorite animal.
Yeah.
And the team is fucking named after me.
Yeah. It is literally named
Bills.
after you too. Which leads me to my next question: how is brown one of your favorite?
Yeah,
colors?
you fucking weirdo. You fucking psychopath. Fuck you, dude.
Brown is such an odd color,
That's so weird.
It's so like
and it's a
it's
color.
fucking it's like nature and shit.
Oh, I guess earthy.
Yeah, I mean, look at that fucking. You know, I do
You wear brown
a
quite
lot of
often.
earth tones.
Yeah.
With browns
Nature
and grays,
shit.
tans.
Your explanation for brown is nature and shit. You know.
Well, what's your
fucking
favorite color?
I don't know. I always feel like it's weird to have a favorite color. Like it's kind of like a
It's
4-year-old
discriminatory.
I guess red, right? Because I always liked red. I always liked red and black. I always thought that looked cool together.
Yeah,
Kind of basic.
Yeah, it is basic.
I like indigo.
Yeah, it's funny when you're like, blue is like the
Or
most.
magenta. Magenta's pretty dope.
Blue is probably the most common like answer when you say favorite color. When
Yeah.
you ask someone favorite color for some reason. Maybe it's a comfortable.
I don't trust people
color.
that say green. I'll tell you that right now.
Right.
If somebody tells me their favorite color is green, I don't talk
They're
to them.
lying, right?
Well, I just don't like the Eagles like at all. Like
Hmm.
I've been trained against the color red and green. I wasn't allowed to wear red and green because of the Red Sox and the Eagles in my house. I don't know if you knew that.
You ever think about what a random
serious.
ass shade of green the Eagles have? That's a completely unique color in sports.
Good, flush it.
Yeah, it's like a. Well, you know what I noticed too is like when the Seahawks rebranded their sort of like colors,
Yeah.
they put
Wolf
that
gray.
they put that yeah, well they used to just be gray and like
the
a blue.
Volt green, dude.
Yeah, and
The
then they
Volt
put like
green.
the green that like Oregon was using.
Yep,
basically.
that shade of green, that's actually getting big in sports. The
Yeah.
Hawks took it on as an accent color.
It's like a neon green.
Yeah. And their jerseys are sexy now.
And I think it's cool looking, but the Seahawks, when you look at the comparison, like it looks so good now, like their jerseys look great.
Yeah.
But when you look at them, like their old school one, it just looks bland as fuck.
It looks
Yo.
weird.
Yeah.
It looks
like you're literally like, wait a minute. Like, is the color shading on my TV right? Like you're like hitting the side of it and shit, like
Yo.
trying to get it.
No, you know what the best throwback jerseys are though?
Bucks.
Damn it, Bill. The creamsicle jerseys.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
Were we talking about this Sunday?
No, I don't think so.
What the fuck? Yeah, those are my favorite.
Dude, I want, like, if I ever buy, like, another team's throwback jersey.
Get a Kobe Bryant, Tampa Bay Buccaneers creamsicle jersey.
Nah, dude. Mike Allstott.
That too.
That's so much clout. Just the Mike Allstott throwback creamsicle jersey.
I always did like the LA Lakers colors though, just because they're complementary colors. They look good together. The purple
Yeah.
and gold.
The old purple and gold,
Yeah.
not the new purple and gold, because Nike forced all the teams to update their jerseys, and they only gave them a list of certain colors to use.
Oh.
So the actual purple and gold is like violet and banana yellow. It
Yeah.
looks so bad.
Yeah.
It looks so bad, and it's so depressing.
I don't know. What I always thought was even worse was, like, their old shade of purple that was basically blue.
Oh yeah. The only jersey I'll give them credit for that they wear now is it's the purple with like it's got not pins. Yeah, it's like pinstripes. It's like purple with pinstripes and then gold. And those are sexy.
You know what I really like is the Saints all black uniforms.
Oh, yeah.
Those look really cool.
You know
with
what's
the gold
crazy
helmet.
is I like the Saints all white uniforms.
That looks good too. Yeah,
But also with the Dolphins, where they
I
have
even
the,
like the Packers all
the
white,
white
uniforms.
face masks.
Yeah.
The Packers Color Rush ones
Oh,
that
yeah.
are white.
I mean,
You ever see, I don't know if they ever actually used it as an alternate, but you used to be able to buy a Saints jersey that was like primary gold with
Yeah.
like black numbers.
Oh, I know that
looks
one.
so
Yeah.
fucking good.
Yeah, the Saints look. I like their jerseys. Their colors are sweet. It's just
Yeah.
black and gold.
I mean, I'm biased. I love the Cowboys uniforms because they always wear white.
I think the blue and the silver does
Cowboys-
look sharp.
It does look sharp, but those are cursed.
The Cowboys need to update their shit. Like, I mean, it's still a good look, but It's just all over the place. You guys have like 3 different shades of blue, different shades of
Well,
silver.
aren't they like the only team that always wears white pretty much, except for they wear the
Washington.
blue?
Washington wears white at home too.
Oh, do they?
I think Miami might sometimes. A lot
But
of those hot weather
the Cowboys,
teams like to do.
the Cowboys home uniforms have been the same since like the 60s.
Yeah.
I think the blue ones look really nice though.
The thing that gets me is the cowboy, like those silver pants. It's not really silver. It's like this weird.
It's
Yeah,
very
it's a silver,
weird
like a
because
baby
they're
blue almost.
they're when they wear the throwback Thanksgiving, because they used to only wear blue on Thanksgiving, but they would have the dark blue pants, but it was like a platinum, or
Yeah.
not dark blue, dark silver, but it was like a platinum silver,
got
like
like
a
a-
silver bluish.
It's got like a blue tint
hue.
to it.
Well, they finally fixed the pants a few years ago because their pants, well, not fixed, but when you had a CRT TV, their pants, they've always been like whitish, grayish silver.
Yeah.
But on a CRT TV, for some reason, they would pop up and they would look like they were like teal or like green.
Yeah.
And now they're back to normal. But I love the Cowboys' white color rush, which is the only color rush they have, where it's pure white pants. It's the jersey that I have. The white pants,
Yeah, they got
the
like
white
the star
jersey,
on the
the
shoulders.
star on
Yeah,
the
that does
shoulder,
look cool.
I
and then
do
the
like
shoulders
those.
are blue.
I like the minimalist jerseys though.
Same.
That's why I
Yeah.
like the all black or
That's
all
why I
white.
hate Tampa Bay's current jerseys with the analog clock numbers.
I don't
Oh my
mind
God, dude.
Atlanta's all red ones, their color rush ones. I think it's
True.
all red.
But you know what jerseys are so fucking overrated?
I even like Atlanta's old red helmets. Those were
Oh,
badass.
easily.
Oh, dude, you know what I just remembered? One of the dirtiest looks of all time. The old school fucking Jags uniforms.
Oh,
with,
God,
I think
yeah.
the black paint.
With Fred Taylor?
Yeah.
Yep.
I was going to say the jerseys that I think are super overrated are the Chargers powder blue.
Yeah, they're okay, but not a big fan, I guess.
I really like their navy blue. Like they're all navy jerseys
Yes,
that they
those are
used to
cool.
wear with LT.
Yeah.
Phillip Rivers is gone. Did you see that?
Oh,
The
yeah.
Chargers announced they're not re-signing him.
Dude, the Chargers are fucking just ridiculous. They're justifying Eli Manning demanding not to go there every day.
What?
Because when Eli was drafted,
okay.
he refused
No,
to
with their
play for
actions. I thought you meant they like announced, like
like, hey, we can't hold it against this guy.
Yeah, the Chargers won a couple tough games this year too, though, so it's
Yeah.
weird. But they're just never gonna. I don't know.
I stopped.
They have a threshold.
They used to be like a team, especially with the Rivers and Romo connection, because they're very similar. Rivers was really accurate and very durable, and Romo had a really strong arm, but he was made of glass. And like they were always compared because they were always that second. They were like the A- tier. Like you had Manning, Brady, Rodgers, Breeze, even Roethlisberger, and then the next tier before everybody else was always Rivers and Romo.
Yeah.
So the Chargers and Cowboys were always compared. But now that they're back in LA, I don't. I used to watch Chargers games all the time. I don't anymore.
Yeah.
Fuck Dean Spanos, dude.
Yeah.
He somehow took a team that literally had 3 Hall of Fame players on it and then 1 fringe Hall of Famer with Rivers. But you had Rivers, LT, Lorenzo Neal, and Antonio Gates. And you even had Vincent Jackson. And then on the other side, you had Sean Merriman. And you somehow don't even make it to an AFC championship game. Or even then, you only made it to 1. I mean, you have probably...
They did have all the pieces too.
You probably had the most talented running back we will ever see. We'll never see 31 touchdowns by a running back ever again.
No.
Never.
I don't think though is like people said that you wouldn't see Vic's record broken, you know, and then Lamar Jackson goes, "Oh, really? Cool. Hold my fucking beer. Hold my cup. Hold
That's
my
fair.
athletic
That's
cup."
fair. But I think being a running quarterback.
Because you don't know how the game's gonna change.
But
you know?
I think being a running quarterback is comparably, like relatively easier than being a running back that does everything, because they don't do,
especially with the amount of carries you would have to get a lot of carries, a lot of touches in general.
The only two,
but
you
get Derrick Henry, who gets a ton of touches in every game, or
he's not a receiver though at all.
Right.
And even Zeke is a good runner, but he's not a great receiver. Christian McCaffrey is a great receiver and a good runner. Like, you would need
Aaron
a guy
Jones is a good pass catcher.
Right. Yeah. You would need a guy that has like Zeke's rushing ability and then McCaffrey's receiving ability, and then also be able to be on the field all game without having a complimentary backup.
Right.
Like, I thought Le'Veon Bell was going to do it.
Le'Veon's a tough guy. I mean, he's a like a workhorse too.
I mean, we still haven't seen anybody break Randy Moss's receiving touchdowns record, and that was 12 years ago. I mean,
and you would think, especially with the way it moves towards passing, you would
exactly.
In the game, you also get like, I don't know, it wasn't like they were like Randy Moss was just the go-to guy on almost every play. It felt like,
yeah.
Whereas now you got a couple of guys on most teams where it's opening things up.
You don't really see.
Also, you got a lot of
receivers
lockdown
anymore.
Corners too now.
Like,
there's a lot of corners that are really fucking good, and you don't hear about them because they're good.
Yeah,
that's why like Darrelle Revis was really great, but like you heard about him, but like you wouldn't talk about him much during a game because no one was passing towards Darrelle Revis.
Yeah, like in that position, once you're that good,
you don't
just
want people
stop
to talk
trying
about you. Yeah, exactly.
Shit, look at like Champ Bailey.
Yeah, just ridiculously good, and no one brings him up because he doesn't get brought up in conversation because you don't want to throw at him.
And that's what makes Richard Sherman so amazing to me, because
he was a character too, though. He made himself.
He had this ability. The only other player I've seen do it this well was Ed Reed. He has this ability to fake out literally any quarterback he plays against.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think when you understand,
bait you into throwing at him.
you have to understand quarterback play as a defensive back, because you want to know, you have to understand where the quarterback's eyes are going to be and what to do to make them think you're going to do something specifically, and then you can just jump the ball. But the closing speed on some of those guys is insane. I mean, they just accelerate so fast, and they're just fast guys in general, fastest guys in the league.
Yeah. Oh my god, that was so great when Richard Sherman got that interception to seal it, and you just, of course he fucking did.
Right.
It's not even like he's that great anymore, but if it was gonna be anybody, it's fucking him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know, man. I think this Super Bowl is gonna be really cool because I think they're the two of the four best teams I saw this year.
And they play so differently from each other, especially now in the season. It's like, if you take somebody playing NCAA 14 and plop them down, they're going to be playing one of these two ways. You either throw 80% of the time, or you throw the ball 8 times a fucking game.
Mm-hmm. And you just run it down their throats with a good offensive line.
It's such... I don't know if I've ever seen the Super Bowl with one team that plays like such an unbalanced game, let alone both of them.
Mm-hmm. And in different ways. Like, and it's you think it's going to be a shootout, and a lot of times when I think it's going to be a shootout, it ends up being 9-3.
Yeah. And I read that. I remember reading something about that. It was like a betting guide for the Super Bowl. It's like, if it's supposed to be a shootout, you take the under, because both these teams know that in order to win, they're going to have to get those stops. So that's what they're going to come out dialed up to do.
And both teams know what they have to stop.
Yeah.
So San Francisco's going to come out knowing that they have to stop the deep ball, and obviously Kansas City's going to come out knowing they have to stop the run. And Green Bay came out knowing they had to stop the run and still couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So that's interesting to me. Because if
you know,
even the Titans, they knew they had to stop the run against the Titans.
Yeah.
But it's, can you do it? And if you if they know what you're gonna do and you can still do it to them for the entire game,
Yeah.
that's impressive.
Yep.
San Fran's got a real shot, and I think I want Kansas City to win.
Yep. I'd like to see Kansas City win, but I don't know if the Niners win, if Jimmy G wins the fucking Super Bowl, the hot takes are going to get out of control.
Yeah.
It's like, should the Patriots have let Tom Brady go?
Right. Yeah, and just kept Jimmy Garoppolo. Yeah, because now the Patriots are in a spot where they don't have a guy that is ready to succeed in taking Brady's position
Yep.
when Brady leaves, which could happen this year.
I think they should give Edelman the shot. Fuck it. He'll be missing his own best weapon, but whatever.
Yeah. Or they could just change the rule to the XFL rules and then have the 2 forward passes.
Yeah.
Just always throw it to Edelman first.
The Saints are fucking... They're talking about Taysom Hill might actually be their QB of the future.
Yeah. They're tricky with their plays. They like to do that kind of stuff. And it's weird because they'll just run him out and you know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, you know when he's on the field, something weird's going to fucking happen.
Yeah.
And it always works, it seems like. Really, if you can read defenses and you can make the throws, that's all you really need.
Yeah.
Because you can always build around it with wide receivers or have a decent running game.
Yeah.
Because,
It's all
you
about
see it with
building
Garoppolo.
around what you have.
Right.
That's like how the Patriots have done it. You don't set your system and then try to get players to fit it. You fucking take inventory of the players you have
And then you mold your
shape
game
your system
plan
around that.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's how the Broncos were able to win in spite of Tim Tebow. They basically switched to a full-blown college option offense.
Yeah. I think that's part of Mike McCarthy's problem, too, was he was stuck in exactly what he was doing for years.
Yeah.
And then when Rodgers started to fade a little bit, he didn't build around... He didn't really build his game plan the right way.
Yeah. That's the thing, is once you have, a player of Aaron Rodgers' caliber, you have to build the roster around them. And once they're no longer on that carry the team level, then...
Now you got to switch things up, and he didn't want to do it, really. Or he just didn't feel comfortable doing it. Maybe he thought Rodgers was still... and I think Rodgers still plays on a high level. It's just a matter of he's not the prime, 2009 Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. I don't know. It's something weird going on with him. I don't know if it's mental or what, but
yeah, he definitely does
almost...
miss throws that he shouldn't be missing.
Yeah.
I think he does need a second wide receiver.
Yeah,
and he needs the offensive line to protect him a little better.
Yeah.
But one thing I noticed is that he holds the ball really long. He doesn't like to throw interceptions, so he takes a lot of sacks that he doesn't need to take.
Yeah, and it's the same. He's terrified of making mistakes, but still playing hero ball.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird.
Yeah, and Mahomes is a lot like that too, though. He'll take the shots when he knows he can, but he's safe with the ball.
Yo, yeah,
and
Mahomes is the logical extension of Brett Favre.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's you just see him throw the ball. Every pass he throws looks like a bullet pass.
Yeah, and it's strange too. He'll throw sidearm passes and he'll make it work.
Yeah. Across his body, across the field.
Yeah, he can
just
improvise.
Diming him.
And that's what I think you need now is a guy who can improvise.
Yep.
Make something out of nothing. And that's what Rodgers was really good at when he was when they won the Super Bowl, was extending plays, getting outside, and then being able to direct traffic and get guys to be on the same page with them. Play backyard football. That's the tough part.
One of the playoff games this year was like that. I forget which one. I want to say one of the Titans games, but they fucking... Oh, yeah, it was the Titans and Texans. They missed the sack on Deshaun Watson, and as soon as they missed that sack, you knew it was over because at that point the defense is broken down.
Or was it the Bills?
The Titans didn't play the Texans.
Okay, yeah, the Bills and the
Bills
Texans
game.
then,
Yeah, I remember watching that because as soon as he broke it and spun out, Yeah, he really should have been tackled because he got hit by 2 guys.
And really, he was wrapped up, and then the second hit basically put
Knocked
him
him
back
free.
up onto a vertical base.
Yeah. And you knew he was going to find somebody.
Yeah, because at that, like, you've already had the pass rush come in. The fucking defenders back here have reacted to that.
Yes.
And then you're still on your feet. Nobody is where they need to be. You just need to extend that play a couple seconds, and somebody's getting open.
Yeah. That's what I mean. As soon as you can improvise, make things happen, and make guys miss.
Yeah.
I love those. I love play action passes when, like, you're just kind of watching the linebacker and you're running out, and if the linebacker comes at you, you just throw it over his head. And so many teams are good at doing that.
Yeah.
And, you know, obviously if the linebacker just follows the receiver, you just take the 6 or 7 yards that he gives you.
Yeah.
But, like, quarterbacks are so good at just fucking making plays running now. And just most quarterbacks can run now.
Yeah. I gotta say, though, watching the Bills this year, it really felt like it's never felt before. If Josh Allen ever puts it all together, he could be like Aaron Rodgers with more upside.
Yeah, it worries me that he takes hits, a lot of hits.
Yeah.
I mean, he's young. I think he thinks he can get away with some of it.
Yeah,
He's not.
He can for a minute, but it's all good, and then all of a sudden you can't.
Yeah, and he's not super safe with the ball. He does make a lot of mistakes,
Yeah.
but
And
I
a
think
lot
the
of it is
kids-
just because he's used to having to do it all himself.
yes,
you can
he
tell.
is kind of the team right now. He needs some wide receivers, maybe.
Yep.
I think he needs one very solid, like 86 overall guy.
Yeah,
Because he
needs someone
turned-
he can he needs a fucking Edelman or something. He needs that outlet. He needs something he can rely
needs
on.
a
Yeah,
safety
like a good
blanket.
slot guy. Yeah.
Because he turned John Brown into a solid number one receiver.
Yeah.
Yo.
I mean, John Brown's always been decent, but I mean, the fact that Allen, and that's the thing too, like having him put it all together. When he is on, he is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, imagine if Jamarcus Russell's arm was attached to somebody who actually wanted to play football.
Yep. And then you would get Patrick Mahomes. I really, 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 really want the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Which means they're going to lose.
Yeah.
That's always how it works.
And I whenever it gets down to the Final Four, I can call it because it's usually the least exciting option that ends up winning these things, and that's
Yeah,
the
who
Niners
writes the
this
script
year.
anymore? Dude, the Niners are the most boring number one seed
I
I've
think
ever
if
seen.
it was scripted,
Yeah.
you would have seen Green Bay and Kansas City because it's Super Bowl 50, or not Super Bowl 50, 100 years of the NFL, and it's
50
Packers.
years since the last time they played.
and it's Packers.
I think if you could have scripted it and you wanted as many people ever to watch it, you would have had Cowboys, Patriots,
yeah, maybe.
Oh my
and then it would have been.
But you wouldn't want the State Farm Bowl. You know what I mean?
That would be a good commercial though, where they just like whoever wins is just like, no, you can take care of this.
Well, yeah, one of them's gonna get a discount. You know what I mean?
I like that you can only do the discount double check if you play as the Packers in Madden.
Mm-hmm.
You can hit a signature, and if you play for the Packers, every now and then it'll have you do the discount double
is
check.
it like? Oh, I didn't know it was tied to the team. I thought it was just Aaron Rodgers.
I did it as a receiver once, where Rodgers threw me a pass and I got the touchdown, and I did the discount double check.
He only did it for 1 year, and it was the Super Bowl year, and then he stopped doing it.
Well, that commercial, Rodgers.
Oh, he does it sometimes.
discount double check.
Yeah, but I think he stopped doing it because of the commercial. It was basically free promotion for State Farm.
Yeah,
You
but
State
know what
Farm
fucking
shill.
kills me?
the three of us still, we all want the Chiefs to win. Like none of us are rooting for San Fran.
Yeah, so San Francisco's
San Fran's
gonna
winning.
win. Yeah.
Go ahead, Bill. I'm
You know
sorry.
what
Wait, you know what? I
kills
want
me?
San Fran to win. Let's just want San Fran
Yeah,
to win.
we should all root for the 40 fucking cunts.
Yeah, 40 cunts. I don't think that's what it's called.
The
but
69ers.
I root for the
They're the-
6-1 Niners.
they're the only team in the league that is named after a number.
They're the only team in the league that I legitimately loathe out of spite for a very good friend of mine, Matt Johnson. I want them to lose just because I hate how much he talks shit.
I hate that Raheem Mostert is killing it all of a sudden. The dude goes for like 250 and 4 touchdowns in the NFC Championship game, and the Browns cut that fucker twice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, but it's like the goddamn, like, the holes that he had to get through, like, were insane.
Yeah. That's...
I mean, I felt like I could have run for 120.
Yo.
And then, I mean, it was ridiculous.
Like, dude, if you're running for 200 plus yards a game and you are winning time of possession 2-1, you're not going to lose.
Right.
It really does. Like, everyone's about this up-tempo, passing offense, high-powered, scoring, and that's great and all, and it does win games. It is the direction things are going.
Mm-hmm.
But you're still going to win games by controlling the ball, controlling the lines of scrimmage,
Yeah.
controlling the clock.
Keeping the other offense off the field.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I noticed about Green Bay in a couple of games this year was like their defense was on the field a lot and they would just get tired
Yeah.
because they're out there all the time. So like the ball control game was what was killing them.
Yeah.
And when you want to keep Aaron Rodgers off the field,
That was
that's
a
what you wanna
bizarre fucking season in general. Like, it started off and everyone's like, holy shit, the Packers defense is elite. And then the next 5 or 6 weeks, it's like, okay, the Packers defense is kind of overrated. And then the rest of it's like, wait, these guys are actually pretty fucking good.
they had a good pass rush.
They're
was
the
what it
weirdest
really was.
13-3 team I've ever seen in my
Yeah, because they
entire
lost
life.
to the Chargers, the Eagles, and the Niners.
Yeah.
The Chargers
like,
and the Eagles?
I forgot that they were, not only did they have home field, but they were, the only reason they were the 2 seed was because they had, the Niners had the tiebreaker.
Yeah. And,
So
and then
they-
the Packers won all their division games.
Yeah.
So it's...
It's wild because, like, that's a great team. And nobody talked about them, which
No
is
one talked about
really
They didn't
weird.
feel elite at all.
Yeah, it was very strange watching them. But like the reason I felt different about this year was because they felt like they were flying under the radar and they were still getting wins. Like they were beating everybody. Yeah, like a lot of them were close games, but they were still getting things done in different ways. So they were winning defensively or they were just winning.
And that close games thing is a big key because there's some sort of correlation about teams that win games within like one possession.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was it last year where the Chargers were like 9-1 in one possession games.
Yeah.
And then if only
Even this year they lost a lot of close games, the Chargers.
exactly, and that's the thing is like if that flips even slightly the pendulum, let's say you go 4-5, well then now you go from 12-4
Right.
to 7-9.
Right. And conversely, the Chargers could have been a 10-win team at least.
Yeah.
Just with games that they lost by like a field goal or
And that's
some
how I
shit.
felt about Dallas this year was like so many like they should have beaten the Vikings. They should have beaten the Eagles the second time they played. It's like
Yes,
as
there was a
soon as-
lot of games they should have definitely
it got
fucking
it
won.
got to a point where you could see that, and this is the bad part about playing for Dallas, because as much as everybody hates to admit it, I mean, besides the Patriots, Dallas is basically like the Lakers of the NFL, and you get all this. I mean, shit, Skip Bayless has made a living off of just random tabloids about Dallas.
Being a like
And as soon as they lost,
super biased Cowboy fan.
they started off 3-0.
Not even.
And they lost to the Jets. And I honestly think that them losing to the Jets by 2 is what ruined the season, because then all of a sudden the players seem to buy into the fact that they shouldn't trust their coaches. They should just, a lot of players, like a lot of guys freelanced and did their own thing, and they picked up Michael Bennett and he played so well. And I was so angry that they got him.
They should have got Michael Bisping.
He
dude.
played
That
so
would've
well. But it's like you saw a lot of players, and Jason Witten being back on the team didn't help at all. I mean, as much as I love Witten, he's my favorite. He's the most complete tight end, like the best all around tight end I've ever seen.
Yeah.
One of the best ever, as far as like blocking, and he wasn't needed as a receiver, but when he was needed, he fucking killed it.
Right. I mean,
And it's like that team just seemed like they fucking checked out like week 7. Like they were fucking 3-4 or 4-3.
They straight up quit on Garrett. You could see that plain as day.
Yeah, I
And
buy that.
you know what blows my fucking mind?
They replaced him with Jason Garrett 2.0.
Not even that. I'm actually happy that Mike McCarthy is the coach, because Mike McCarthy has been able to win before.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like you took a former offensive coordinator who was largely ridiculed for his play calling no longer being up to snuff, and you replaced him with a former offensive coordinator who's supposed to be an offensive guru who's taken criticism for his play calling.
Right, but you replace him with a former offensive coordinator who was ridiculed for his alliteration, his play calling being the same thing all the time, but then he comes back knowing that he has to change his philosophy, and went out and got all these other coaches. Like we just poached Jim Tom Sula.
Oh shit!
For the defensive line, they go out and they poach the Rams special teams coach, who the Rams have had a top 3 special teams since he's been their coach.
Yeah,
I mean, they go out and they purge all the bullshit. They got rid of every single coach that had any slight negativity with him. I'm pretty sure the only guy they kept was Kellen Moore.
Oh, shit, okay.
To help with Mike McCarthy drawing up plays. But Mike McCarthy and Will McClay and Stephen Jones went out and hired a 13-person analytics team to help them out. And the Cowboys have never bought into this analytics bullshit, but apparently it works.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
and I'm very excited. I'm tentatively excited.
I think he'll do all right. I think McCarthy will do all right.
I'm a Cowboys fan. So obviously, I think we're gonna win the division.
Yeah.
And honestly,
you should win the division.
For me, that's all it takes. But I'm also very scared. Yeah, I am very petrified of the red and gold.
Yeah, either you guys win it all this next season, or you go 8-8 next season, and then it's just back to the back and forth between 10 and 6, 6 and 10.
But I'm terrified of Washington. They got Ron Rivera. They picked up that other guy.
Yeah.
And that third guy.
Yeah. Those two are
they're pretty well renowned.
Yeah. They're pretty big names.
But the Redskins right now are, because the Redskins were a very good team just 2 years ago. They went 9-7.
Yeah, it should have been
just
10,
missed
6,
the wild
11,
card.
and 5 before Alex Smith fucking died.
Like last year, they should have won the division. If they had Alex Smith the whole year, they would have won the division, and Dallas would have been the wild card.
Dude, that shit still fucks with me. Look, his lower leg essentially fucking shattered.
Yeah.
It was apparently it was the exact same injury that Joe Theismann had.
Yeah, you know what the craziest thing about that is? It was the same yard line.
Holy fuck.
That's wild.
God damn.
Shit, there was
Did you watch Blades dos Santos?
Yeah.
Oh shit! Wow,
I
I
did.
forgot about that.
That was
did.
interesting.
I did. Blades murdered him in a way that I didn't think he would be able to do. I really thought Dos Santos was gonna do very well.
Dos Santos still looks really good, but I think he's like slow. He's slowing down for sure. You can tell.
He's gonna be the cowboy of the heavyweight division.
Yeah.
As if he hasn't been for the past 5 years.
I mean, he's been around for a while, man.
Yeah.
No, the guy that got me the most recently was the guy we watched with the Cowboy McGregor fight, was Alexei Olenek, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Takes out that fucking. He was what? The guy he beat was like what, 7-1 or 7-0.
I think so.
And he just fucking that was like great watching that because like me, you, and Dan were sitting there like he's gonna fucking do something fucking crazy, and Zach and Vinny are just full on like. I mean, and part of me thought that the guy he fought was gonna kill him eventually because he was younger, he was way faster. But when you got the boa constrictor around you, buddy, you're not getting the fuck out. And he was pulling off shit that like stuff that like a bantamweight you'd be amazed that a bantamweight could get in that angle.
Yeah.
But the Curtis Blades and Dos Santos was weird because that's another fight where I wouldn't mind either way.
That was I felt like it was like someone's getting dropped, I felt like.
Oh yeah.
But it was a matter of like who was gonna do it, who was gonna catch the guy. But Curtis Blades is beating fucking just everybody. And where's his title shot?
Well, he already lost to Ngannou twice.
I think he needs it though. I think
I think he might be they're gonna have him fight. I would love to see Blades Lewis.
They might do that, actually.
I would love to see Blades Lewis.
See, that's the thing. I'm never willing to say that I'm hyped for a heavyweight fight because the best sounding matchup on paper, there's a half a chance it's just going to turn into a 15-minute snooze fest.
Mm-hmm.
Right, like Ngannou and Lewis.
Yeah, that was just ridiculous.
Francis versus Ngannou versus Lewis.
Derek versus Lewis.
But I love
one versus
like,
one UFC.
There was a thing they interviewed. It was a guy. I want to say it was who was the commentator with Rogan? Used to be it wasn't
Goldberg.
Mike
well,
Goldberg.
It was Goldberg. They had an interview with him when he was still with the UFC, and they were talking about how like what fights he gets the most excited for. He was talking about the heavyweight, and he was talking about how heavyweight championship fights. I mean, shit, that division. First off, the three of us are huge fans, and that division pisses me off the most because those championship fights come around like once every 14 or 16 months, and the championship fights are always so hyped up because the guy that's the UFC heavyweight champion is immediate.
Just the idea of heavyweight champion.
They're immediately the guy.
Yeah.
Like if you could be, you could be the heavyweight champion on a fluke, and you would immediately be the guy until your next fight.
Yeah.
Like that's the only division that has that power for me. Mm-hmm. Welterweight is another one.
I think welterweight's my favorite division because it's right in that sweet spot.
Yeah.
At 170, you can move, and you also can drop guys. Like,
yeah.
You got a Kamaru Usman or something that's a savage, and he can do it all. Like, he can just do it all.
Yeah. And light heavyweight was always my favorite because I've said before, John Jones is the one that got me into UFC heavy.
Yeah.
But there's something special to me about heavyweight. Like any heavyweight fight that's on a pay-per-view, like that's any top 10 guys, I have to watch it because, and it's part of it is because like what you said, the risk of it being a 15-minute snooze fest.
Yeah.
And that's probably a solid 1/5 of the fights, but the other 80% are always fucking crazy. Like, I didn't think that the Alexei Oleinik fight last weekend was going to be anything big.
Right.
And it was like a crazy fight on the ground. I mean,
which I think is fucking fun to watch.
Especially when they're heavyweights and they're fucking rolling. Like, that's crazy. He's like 6'3", 250, and he's fucking rolling around.
It's what you would expect in a light heavyweight fight.
And I think, I really think that eventually Ngannou is going to be champion. And that's going to be, I mean, he's already, like, he's the Predator. He's already that, he's like, to me, out of everybody in the UFC that I've ever seen, Ngannou is the closest embodiment to Undertaker that I've ever seen. Nobody wants to fight him. And he's fighting Rosenstruik.
Yes, he's definitely the scariest guy for sure. He reminds me of like I don't know, like maybe a prime Silva where you're just scared to fight him.
Yeah.
Like you go into the ring and you're like, oh, I don't know if I can do this.
Well, it's
You're
like
looking
the Brendan
across
Schaub
from him.
interview where he was faced off against Mirko.
Or even Overeem, like in his prime.
Oh my God! Yeah,
Like Overeem was just
Shit.
scary in his prime.
Verdum is the same way.
Yeah.
Like,
Verdum was a horrifying person to
and
stand
he comes
across
back at the end of the year.
Oh,
because
shit.
Verdum doesn't. He just throws caution to the wind. Like he's like, oh, I don't have anything to lose, so here's my fist, and you're gonna have to dodge it because it's coming hard. Like, and he just throws shit like he doesn't care.
Oh, speaking of heavyweight fights, did you see that the fight between Fedor and Rampage is being under like investigation for being fixed?
Oh shit.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, I was reading about that the other day. I don't know if it was true or not, but that's a headline I read.
Yeah, but I think Fabrizio Verdum is one of my favorite to watch.
Oh my
because
God, yeah.
he's a fucking great jiu-jitsu player in a heavier division.
Yeah, I remember back before he was really regarded as anything as a striker, and he was still one of the more dangerous.
Yeah,
dudes
like
in
he
the
built
division.
his striking game up like so well, and like, but he's just if you're a jiu-jitsu guy in the heavy division, you have a huge advantage immediately. Frank Mir coasted on it. Like for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, Mir had hands, but he was a jiu-jitsu guy.
Well, shit. I mean, like you look at guys like Roy Nelson, and Roy Nelson was like a solid like top 7 heavyweight, but he's still probably a bigger name than most
And Roy was just fun to.
top
He was
7 fighters.
Roy was a magnet because he was gigantic. He was just a fat dude that
Yeah.
could knock dudes the fuck out,
And-
and people wanted to see it.
And I think that's the thing that
And he had a chin.
Yeah, and I think that's what Goldberg was really getting at. Like the nitty gritty was that like a top, like Curtis Blaze, he's like the number 4, number 5 heavyweight. Like he's gonna
He
pull
might
in
be 4 now, right?
He's gonna
or no,
pull-
he was 4. Dos Santos was 5, right?
I think so.
Or was it 5 and
3
6?
and 5, I think it might have been. I think
No, I think Dos Santos was right below him when they fought the
Maybe.
other night. So Blades is probably 3 or 4 at least.
right. But I think what I'm getting at is a matchup between like the number 3 and number 4 heavyweights would draw more eyes on paper compared to the number 3 and number 4 middleweight. Like you said, the only division in the UFC that has any competition for getting people to watch it is welterweight. Middleweight's there too,
I think
but I think
welterweight is
part
so
of it is
stacked right
because those are so deep.
Yeah,
I mean, welterweight, fuck.
Yeah,
dude.
Covington. I mean,
Yeah.
like, dude, honestly, just welterweight is in the best spot right
And
now.
you could throw McGregor at any of those guys and
Yeah,
immediately get a giant pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Dude,
the best spot I've
Usman
seen.
and Colby, like that fight, that was one of the most mind-blowing fights in recent memory because it's been a long time, since John Jones came on the scene, where a fighter just like jumps off the screen at you, and both of those guys just jumped the fuck off the screen at me in that fight.
Yeah, it's in the best spot since you like St. Pierre, Matt Hughes, Matt Serra, even like Dan Hardy.
Yeah.
Like those guys. That era was fucking awesome for the welterweight division.
We watched the Covington Usman fight at the Berlin's house. Well, not we. I did. But that fight we were silent for. Like completely silent.
Yeah.
We also watched the Diaz Masvidal fight.
Oh yeah.
Or wait,
That
no, we
was
watched
nuts,
Covington
too.
Usman here.
I think we watched it here.
I'm thinking of
And
the
then
Masvidal
the other one
fight,
was-
but
yeah.
either way, the Covington Usman fight was here.
Yeah.
It was just me, you. It was just me and you, I think.
Maybe
Katie.
Could have mixed in
Vinny
a
might have.
Yeah.
Vinny or Katie could have been there.
Coulda
You
mixed
might
in
have
a
been
Vinny.
there too. I don't remember. I never remember any of the fight nights.
I don't think I was, but yeah.
The only one I remember was, and this is gonna be something like, when I have children, I'm gonna get them into UFC.
If and when.
When I have children, it's gonna happen because I'm a fucking whore. But I'm gonna be like, hey, they're gonna show the highlight of Masvidal killing Ben Askren on live TV.
Yeah.
I'll be like,
Actually
I remember
killing him.
exactly where I was when this happened.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think
I
the
was
two
sit-
fights I'll remember the most vividly are Shogun Hua versus Lyoto Machida won,
Yep.
and UFC 100 Brock Lesnar versus Frank Mir, because that was huge. We were watching it at Jonesy's house, and everybody was there. We bought that pay-per-view, and that just like it was one of the first times I had watched like a live pay-per-view for the UFC, like one of the first, like maybe not the first time, but one of the fucking first times where I watched it with a bunch of people, and it was just there was so much hype and shit.
Brock's original run, those were the first fights that really felt like larger events, like Conor fights.
Well, he was already big from the WWE, right?
Yeah, and that's where the draw came from. Like, everybody wanted to watch it because they were like, it's Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
It's Brock Lesnar.
That's so
And
crazy.
like, think about it. Now that UFC is so big, think about how much that does for Brock's legacy. Like, the dude, he crossed over into different sports, had actual top-level success in him.
And he certainly was like a hand in building it as well.
Yeah.
Well, that's
I mean,
why
even
he's
at
the
UFC
beast
100.
incarnate, dude.
Right, yeah. Even at UFC 100, they were still building. And I remember St. Pierre fought Thiago Alves. Michael Bisping fought...
Thiago Alves.
Thiago Alves. No, who did he fight?
I want to say, no. My first thought was Koscheck, but I don't think that's right.
No, Michael Bisping. Oh, fuck. I don't remember. It was UFC. The UFC 100 card was stacked. I would have to look it up.
My phone's off, so I can't look it up. Otherwise, I would. I'm kind of in the background here. I was going to say, I think as much as people hate Conor.
Oh, my God. This
Kamaru
card is so
Usman
good.
talked about it on the Joe Rogan podcast the other day. You're watching it right now. But
It's
he talked.
fucking, oh, my God.
He
dude.
brings up McGregor, and he talks about how McGregor is, at the same time, he's a win-win and a lose-lose fight to have. Like, you fight McGregor, and if you put up a good fight and make it to like even the second or third rounds, you're gonna sell all those pay-per-views. You're gonna make yourself look good in front of the casual audience, and you're still gonna make a lot of money. Lose-lose is he starches you in a minute, and you make the money, but you look like a fucking clown in front of everybody. And with Usman specifically, because he was talking about him hypothetically, if Conor McGregor, he has the he even said this. He goes, he could knock me out in 2 minutes. Well, if he does that, then not only does Conor McGregor take your belt, but you are also the guy that he knocked out within 2 minutes, and you don't get a rematch.
Yeah.
Because Aldo didn't get one, Alvarez didn't get one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where it's like, so he was saying a lot of fighters have this, they have this tentativeness. They're like skittish about fighting with McGregor because they all want to get the bag, which is a win. But if you have something you're building on, like Usman is with these,
You
I
could
mean,
lose it.
Usman's last 2 fights were against literally the 2 best welterweights we've ever seen.
It kills your momentum to lose
Exactly.
to McGregor entirely. It shuts it down.
Yep. I mean,
Because you're just another guy that McGregor beat.
right. And since you're not Nate Diaz, you're not going to get a rematch.
Yeah.
And that's why I want nothing more. I want nothing more than McGregor and Masvidal. I want nothing more than that fight. That would be, in my opinion,
I don't know. McGregor and Tony is way up there too.
Tony
Yeah.
would kill him. Tony would
I
kill
don't know.
him.
I'm done doubting Conor. I can't doubt Conor
I know. I'm
anymore.
done doubting fucking Ferguson too, though.
Same. Because I honestly think Ferguson is going to beat Magomedov, but it's going to be like 4th or 5th round.
I don't know.
But
if he
I
beats
also,
Khabib, man. It's
I
tough to
also
beat
would
Khabib.
not be surprised at all if Khabib beats him.
It's just so hard to
immediately.
beat that guy, man.
Yeah.
He just controls everybody.
And his strengths take away your strengths even when he's not currently using
Yes.
them. Like
He's-
his ground game is so good that it forces you to be conservative
Yeah.
in your striking.
He's the 49ers, dude. He you know what he's gonna do, and he still does it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, it's wild.
It's so frustrating watching him because I love him, but he's...
He makes his opponents less interesting to watch,
He reminds
which
me
in
of-
a way is the mark of an elite fighter.
Yeah, he reminds me of St. Pierre in that his ground control is so good, but like he adds in such good ground and pound.
Yeah.
St. Pierre was like, he wasn't a great ground and pound guy, but he would soften guys up and move around and constantly keep pressure on him. Whereas Khabib is laying hammers on you all the time. This is the UFC 100 card, and it was ridiculous. So John Jones was on this card. I didn't even realize that.
Oh, shit.
Jim Miller, Mac Danzig is a wicked good fight.
Wow.
Mark Coleman versus Stephan Bonner. Yoshihiro Akiyama versus Alan Belcher, wicked good fight. Dan Henderson, Michael Bisping is the one I was thinking of.
That's
Bisping
the
got
one.
destroyed. He got
Dude,
annihilated.
that's the fucking
The
the
right
knockout.
hand where Bisping's like fucking immediately lit
The
up.
follow-up shot.
And then St. Pierre versus Alves, Brock Lesnar versus Frank Mir, John Fitch, Paulo Tiago. That's a wicked good fight too.
Was that the main?
No, maybe it was the main. Yeah, Fitch Tiago was the main. That doesn't sound right. Yeah, no, I remember Lesnar Mir being the co-main. But
I
it's
remember
so wild that your
Lesnar,
fourth
like-
fight down is Henderson Bisping. That
Like
could
I
headline.
remember
fucking-
Lesnar won, and that's when I had to leave because I was only like 13, and my parents, my dad was there with me, and as soon as he was only there to see Lesnar, and as soon as Lesnar won, we left because it was like 11:30 at night.
Yeah. But that was kind of the main for everybody. It felt like.
Well, I remember the first fight I really remember watching.
But John Fitch was the champion, I think, at the time. That's why.
No, I don't think so. I don't think he ever had the belt. I think he ran into GSP.
Oh yeah,
Like
you're
everybody
right.
else.
Wait, so then why was that the main? Why wouldn't St. Pierre Alves be
No,
the?
it couldn't have been.
I don't think it was. I think that's wrong. But I don't remember though, because I just remember the hype for Lesnar being the main thing.
I remember the first UFC event we watched. I fucking pulled it up just to talk about it, and I put my phone away. Was John Jones and Machida at UFC 140, and I remember because it was so fucking crazy because this card was crazy too.
That's a weird fight too, because they're both defensive guys. It seems like Jones is a little bit more aggressive than Machida, because Machida is a pretty heavy karate style fighter where he's very defensive.
Right.
Jones is pretty defensive counter striker in a way.
Right.
And he also gets aggressive when he knows he can open up.
Well,
You'll see Jones tends to open up a lot more in the second, third rounds.
The main card started out with Korean Zombie knocking out Mark Hominick.
Okay, yeah. Mark
And
Hominick, didn't he get annihilated in that fight?
Yeah,
And have,
7 seconds.
He looked like a fucking cartoon character afterwards.
And then you had Brian Ebersol and Claude Patrick. And then Antonio Nogueira versus Tito. And then Frank Mir
That's sick.
versus Antonio Nogueira or
Rogerio.
Rogerio.
Yeah, Rodrigo. and-
Rodrigo. You had Little
Nog,
Nog.
light heavyweight.
yeah.
You had Little Nog fighting Tito, and then Big Nog fighting Frank Mir, and then John Jones killing Machida.
Yeah.
And
then
I
Machida is still
I remember getting bitched at for staying the night for that fight because it was my mom's birthday. So we had dinner at Vona's and we were gonna do a thing back at the house. And I was like, no, I gotta go to Wes's house. And that was it. I drank a bunch of vodka underage
dead.
and
Yeah.
watched.
And now I'm here.
And now I'm here.
That was the last thing I remember.
I woke up here. But there's so many. I think another fight I'll never forget was Gustafsson Jones won.
Yeah.
The fight where Silva broke his leg.
Oh yeah.
We watched that at Wes's house. We had that on 3 screens. We had
No, I think. Well, I don't know if you were here. I was gonna say we watched that here. I'm pretty sure. I remember Brandon Barrow was there, and I remember him freaking out at the fucking leg.
Oh, I think, yeah.
You might be right. I remember we had at Wes's house. We had everybody that was rooting for Silva was in one room, and everybody that was rooting for Weidman was in the other room. And then we also had it on in the whole house because it was like a full-on party, like straight up, like 25 people, 20-something people were over for it.
God damn.
Obviously, Nunes Cyborg we watched here. That fight I won't forget because I remember freaking out. We were freaking out so hard that we woke your dad up, and he was like, "What's going on?" And we rewound the pay-per-view to show him, and then he started freaking out with us. Like that was so fucking clutch. Like that was so fucking great because your dad doesn't watch UFC, so he doesn't really know, and it was so funny that we were like, "Oh no, you have to see this," and we rewound like it was like 40 seconds.
Yeah. Was that? Did you even? There was one that you missed because it was just a flash KO, and you were downstairs.
It was the Askren knockout.
Okay, yeah.
I went downstairs to make a drink, and I missed it. It actually happened. I was coming up the stairs, and you guys were all freaking out.
We were like, oh!
And I thought you guys were fucking with me. And I walk in, and Vinny goes, Askren just fucking Masvidal just fucking murdered Ben Askren. I go, what? And I didn't believe you. And as I was going to look at the screen, you rewound it to the beginning of the fight. And yeah.
13 seconds or some stupid
immediately.
Shit.
Well, fucking another great one. It was the only UFC event I've convinced my dad to watch was Darren Till versus Masvidal, and I spent the whole morning / early afternoon hyping up Darren Till because they were fighting in London, and then Masvidal killed him.
Yeah,
and now my dad's a huge Masvidal stan.
Yeah, I remember Mirko Krokop, dude. That dude was a savage.
You bust a hole in the top of that can?
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Yeah, airflow.
Oh.
You have to, dude. I mean, you don't have to, but...
Well, you don't have to.
You should.
But...
I never considered that. I'm just going to shotgun a can and do it the old-fashioned way. That makes a lot of sense.
That's what old fucking douchebags do.
Yeah.
Also, I would do that if we were not in Seth's room. Like, if we were outside or, in Sean's room, I'd shotgun a beer.
Outside.
I don't know. Maybe with a 12-ouncer, I might. I don't know if I tried to shotgun a tall boy.
Dude, Bill, you should have been a friend of mine when I lived on 9th Street, because that's when we were doing stupid shit. I remember my buddy Nick, shouts out to Nick, just got out of prison. Or jail, rather. We had a beer funnel. And him and I funneled Four Locos at the beginning of a party. It was for fucking football too. It was like the wild card weekend of. So the year that the Patriots came back and beat the Falcons, we had parties every Sunday. So it was like the wild card Sunday. We fucking. Right before the game started, we fucking we funneled Four Locos.
Were you drinking early enough to be in the prime of the alcoholic energy drinks?
I just started drinking. I started drinking when I was 15. And right when I started drinking was right when they discontinued the alcoholic Four Locos. But I remember there was a girl that I went to high school with that was selling them for $10 a piece because she bought up a ton of them.
Nice.
And I remember shouts out to Christy, because I remember I got one and I brought one over to a guy's night one night, and Christy saw me drinking one of the old school Four Locos, and she took it from me. Because you didn't know me when I was 15. I was tiny. I was not fat.
Yeah, you was a pipsqueak.
I was a pipsqueak. I was like when I was 15, I was 5'3", maybe 120 pounds.
Damn.
I went from 5'3", 120 to 5'9", 220 in 4 years. It was just beer and powdered donuts mostly, but and cough syrup and opiates. But anyway,
yeah, munchkins, dude.
Munchkins,
those will get you.
But yeah, I missed the craze of Four Loko and juice having caffeine in them. Luckily, because that would have killed me.
Those were the days, dude. I remember I used to drink Sparks. That was the good shit.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, little like silver fucking cans. I think they had the weird fucking cap on them.
Was it Jolt?
No, it was Sparks. I think. No, I don't think it was. I think it was just SPARKS. I don't think it was an X. But
should have been.
It was just an alcoholic energy drink, and I don't know, shit got wild on that shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's like nowadays. I mean, really, you could just mix an energy drink into alcohol. But it's a matter of like buying it as a package deal.
Well, that's all that Aaron drinks. When you go to the bar with Aaron, all he drinks is fucking vodka Red Bulls, doubles. One of my coworkers does that. He works in the ER with me, and that's all he drinks. He drinks double vodka Red Bulls. All night.
It just tastes like Red Bull.
Yeah, literally, dude. It's fucked up because it literally tastes like that just tastes like Red Bull. The same way that the spiked Arnold Palmer literally tastes like Arnold Palmer. Because I bought a 6-pack of those last night for I think it was like $9 or something. And it's Arnold Palmer and it's 5% alcohol. And it literally, you drink it and it just tastes like regular Arnold. I think you've had it on the show with me once because I brought it over once and you maybe had one or two.
I might probably.
But it's fucked up because it's malt liquor, but they add all these artificial flavorings.
Yeah.
Right.
To make it not taste like that. Just like the coconut Ritas are one thing, but I drank the regular like Bud Light Lime-A-Rita, like the original thing they made.
Those are bad news.
They are, but it literally just tastes like, to me, it tastes like limonade.
That's the thing, is like they're delicious and there's not much to them, but they get you drunker than the fucking ABV says they should.
Yeah. Well, and Christy...
You can't always listen to the ABV.
I mentioned Christy for like the 5th time in the past 20 minutes, but Christy was explaining to me the way malt liquor works is that malt liquor, the alcohol is like bonded to sugar or something that makes your body break it down faster.
Yeah, it's like a fusion, dude.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Which is why like shit like Natty Daddies like that we've been drinking makes you feel drunker. Like if I could buy,
or maybe it's just the way it breaks the sugar. Your body breaks the sugar down and sets your body into a tempo.
Well, it's like if I went out and I bought a 6-pack of like Torpedoes. Torpedoes are 7% alcohol. If I plus these are 16 ounces too, but at the same time, if I drank 3 or 4 Torpedoes within 2 hours, I'd feel drunk. But this is my. Well, I had a Natty Daddy on the way. I had one outside your house.
You drink those things; they're so wild.
It's not 8%. I'm not happy about it. It tastes like motor oil.
I mean, that's the problem. Is it? How do they make it? Can't they just make it taste better? Or
no,
it cost more?
Because I still buy them.
Okay. Right. So if you stop buying them, then they'll just make it taste better?
Probably. I don't know.
Okay, well, you should stop buying it for a
it's
couple
like
months.
Those, well, you drink Black Velvet. I don't want to hear it, dude. You literally drink the Natty Daddy of whiskeys. Like
I guess, but at least it's whiskey. That's like weird. That's not.
Try some.
I mean, it looks.
Try some.
Look how low budget it looks.
It looks like it's from the 90s. Just try some. It's good.
It's not, though. I feel like I've done
I'm
this.
put my lips on anything that says daddy.
Same.
Unless, it's like the chick with issues or whatever.
Yeah, you can't stick your dick in crazy. You can't go...
Oh my god, the aftertaste is so wild.
Seth, you can't go balls deep in crazy.
No, you have to let them get up on you.
You sure you want to do a podcast instead of being balls deep in me right now?
Yep.
I'll tell you about it after the show.
Yeah.
But
what else we got? Oh,
I drank these
we'll
things.
do the food or object and we'll get out of here.
Okay. Well, I got a food or object.
All right, well, go ahead. Go.
Let me finish this first.
All right, well, just go ahead, All right. So he is finishing it for the audio listeners. And he is still drinking it. And he set it down. So,
You go first.
Sour cream versus
Heaven Gate.
heaven. All right. How about? Oh shit! What happened? It disappeared.
Lice versus dip.
You need to be more specific. What kind of dip are we talking about?
All of them.
Chips dip?
All of them.
Or chewing tobacco?
Yep.
Wait. Dip.
That's not the one I had written
Or
down.
the Danny Brown song?
I'm so confused.
No, you go ahead.
Dip versus lice? That doesn't even make sense. Okay. I don't remember which one I mean by this, but I'm going to say it. Orange juice versus Windows. And I don't remember if I mean the Windows operating system or actual Windows. I feel like it's actual Windows.
I was going to say, because the Windows OS you could just get rid of and just use Mac or Linux.
Right. I think it's
It'd be
actual
more
Windows.
inconvenient, but...
Yeah.
I don't know, a whole lot of business runs all their shit on Windows, so if you get rid of Windows, there's some economic effect.
Well,
That's
you'd have
wicked
to,
true.
Yeah, that's the thing. You'd have to adapt.
The
Like,
whole
they'd have to-
hospital runs on Windows.
Yeah.
Yeah. Orange juice, for a lot of people, orange juice just means fucking heartburn.
Yeah. It's very acidic. But
Whoa,
people
whoa,
like
whoa, whoa,
orange
whoa,
juice
whoa.
with their
And-
breakfasts. It's okay.
I was gonna
Orange
say,
juice
orange-
is the only juice you can't drink after brushing your teeth. So there's a knock.
First
on it, too.
off,
Well, you can, but
no. You could drink orange juice after brushing your teeth.
If you're a masochist,
Sometimes it tastes better after brushing your teeth because it pronounces the orange acidic flavor
I don't
more.
think I've ever heard
pronounces
that
it?
take
I don't know
before.
about that. You know what's the coolest
That's a
thing
new take
is
to
when
me.
you chew gum that's like mint flavor, and then you drink something with ice in it,
Yup.
and you're like, because it's so goddamn cold.
Dude, you know what also does it? Is fucking Ricolas.
Yeah. Lozenges, dude.
Dude, eating a Ricola is basically
Whoa,
what it
whoa, whoa,
feels
whoa, whoa,
like
whoa, whoa,
to
whoa,
chew
whoa,
five
whoa, whoa, whoa.
gum.
You're not supposed to eat a Ricola, Dr. Bill.
Okay, all right. Well,
But then how
we're getting
how
off
do
track,
I
though.
coat
We
my
were
You're
talking
supposed to
about-
just suck on it. You said orange juice
juice.
versus Windows.
yeah, like actual Windows, physical Windows. Okay. I can live without orange juice. I don't drink orange juice enough to deal with, I guess.
I don't know, you live without Windows for long enough, you start to go fucking stir crazy.
Right.
Even in fucking solitary confinement in prison, you still get a window.
Yeah. And I mean, I like being able to crack a window in the summer, you know.
Here's this. Ready for this? How about you're both wrong?
No, because
And you keep orange juice because it's the best juice. It's the healthiest for you. It's great for people with diabetes.
Is it?
It gives you a solid amount of vitamin C. And if you like looking out the window so much, how about instead of windows, we just have LCD screens with cameras that let you look out a window the way that you would look out a window.
Damn, I didn't know you
Yeah,
were
but you
turning
can't-
this into a
you
Black
can't-
Mirror episode.
you can't open the LCD screens.
You could
To get a
open the
breeze.
wall. A window, like if you have a hole in your wall, that's
a
not
window.
a window. No, it's not.
If I have an LCD screen on my wall instead of windows and I rip ass, that's not doing me any fucking
Yeah,
good.
like you can't crack.
Well, if you
can't-
drank more orange juice, your ass ripping wouldn't smell that bad. Fucker.
I guess, but you can get vitamin C other ways.
I'm taking orange juice.
And let's be real here. Orange juice, I mean, it's a good juice. It's a high-level juice. But is it the best juice? I don't know. And it's certainly not the most nutritious. I mean, we got pomegranate juice floating around, which is essentially a superfood.
Yeah, pomegranate juice. If you want to spend $7 an ounce, you fucking billionaire hippo.
He's a young billionaire, dude.
No, this is the thing, right?
You better make a good point here, because defending orange juice is a tough task.
So you say when I rip ass, the LCD screen isn't going to help me. Well, you know what will? Every house is installed with ventilation fans. Boom.
I guess.
Oh, also, we live in 2020. We have the technology to have lights that let in natural light. So you don't need sunlight. Oh, but wait a minute,
Aren't
Jake.
those just windows?
I need vitamin D.
Is a
I am
skylight a
scared.
window?
I'm scared
yeah.
because I don't get vitamin D because apparently I spend a lot of my time looking out of window. Your windows are covered every time I'm here, faggot. Like, fuck you, dude. Fuck you. I have never seen anybody in this house, anybody in my life ever be like, I don't know what to do. I want to look out the window. Fuck you. You know what I know you're going to do? Is as soon as you're sick or as soon as you're hungover, the first thing on your list is motherfucking vitamin C enriched orange juice.
No,
Nope.
don't do that.
Nah.
Oh, well, that's probably why you guys are both gonna die before me.
Nah, see, I'm a Pedialyte guy.
Oh, sick, cool. There's no vitamin C in there, so good job killing your immune system and loading your body up with sodium and potassium that it doesn't need, you fucking fruit.
Right. I don't know if you need that much of the vitamin C though, you know. But I do. You know, if I feel like I need a window fan, where am I going to put it?
You don't need one because there's fans installed preemptively. This is how we always did food or
I
object.
feel like you would have to adapt
you
way
take out-
more to not having windows than you would not having orange juice. There'd have to be a lot more adjustments.
And even if we are going to concede that orange juice is the best juice,
Which we're
it's
not.
certainly not the most charismatic juice.
Right.
I think there's more of a connection people have with apple juice somehow, even if it isn't necessarily as good of a juice.
Sure.
Cranberry juice is the best juice, first off, and I'm digressing.
I mean, Windows wins. So,
Bullshit. Absolute bullshit. Absolute bullshit. I will die on a hill made of orange juice before I ever concede to letting more people build windows in my fucking house to let in more of the air.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is you could build a hill out of the fucking repugnant fucking pulp in your goddamn orange juice.
You're a fat cunt, Bill. First off, have you ever seen The Happening? What if The Happening happens? You're going to be really happy that you have orange juice instead of windows, because if you have windows, you let the bad air in. Fucker.
If the happening
close the window.
happened, if you got rid of oranges, by extension, that means you're getting rid of orange trees, which thereby slightly mitigates the effects of the happening.
Doesn't matter, because you have windows, which means there's the potential for you to let in
I don't
the
know
bad
how-
air.
out of
Fucker.
any of these, you've never defended anything as hard as you're defending orange juice.
I fucking love orange juice. Screwdrivers. Vodka orange. You fucking fags. I can't believe it. I cannot believe it right
I
now.
like Windows. Salt versus zip up hoodies.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Salt.
I don't know.
I don't
It's
know.
sodium level, dude. You get a
No,
lot of
salt.
sodium.
You need salt for your food.
I don't know, have you ever tried wearing a hoodie without a zipper? You look like a fucking middle schooler.
Yeah, and think about how dumb you look trying to take it over your pull it up over your head. I fucking hate hoodies without zippers, though. I have to have the zipper on it.
And salt, I mean, what does salt do you but just fucking murder the shit out of your kidneys?
It doesn't do a lot of good for you. Definitely absorbs a lot of.
Apparently, you picked.
You always
picked
pick
two
the food.
things-
You always want
picked
the
two
food.
things that fucking I don't own a zip up hoodie. I own quite a few pullovers, and I have no problem taking them off or putting them on, because if you give a shit about how stupid you look taking off a pull up hoodie, maybe you should just kill yourself. You fucking uncharismatic piece of garbage.
Nah, I still would pick salt realistically.
Salt!
Because like I said, you can just wear the fucking ones that don't have the zipper. But the zipper is so much. There's so
Well,
much
you're also not
convenience to
getting
it.
rid of hoodies that are Velcro.
Oh yeah, just rip rip.
Yeah, and well, yeah. All right, let's do garlic bread versus gym shorts.
Oh, you cunt.
Now, this one's gonna take some elaboration, because are we just saying any sort of shorts that might be worn for athletic purposes, or is
Right.
it just short, like if you're not actually wearing them in the gym, if you don't go to the gym, you're just wearing basketball shorts.
Yeah, like these.
To play basketball. Are those are those gym shorts?
I gotta take gym shorts all day because all I wear are fucking gym shorts and pajama pants, and also jeans sometimes.
See, that's the thing. The pajama pants. The pajama pants are so fucking crucial that I don't think you even need
My
the
secret,
gym
my
shorts.
main weapon is going gym shorts and then pajama pants over, because then I can just layer down if I get too hot. You know, that's the key.
I'm team gym shorts.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
am definitely not team saltines or whatever you picked.
Garlic bread.
Garlic bread.
Garlic bread's
fuck it.
delicious though. man.
Garlic bread has kind of a cult following, but I find it to be...
Is it a cult following?
It has its own subreddit and shit, dude.
Oh, garlic bread does? Really?
Garlic bread memes. It's a thing.
Oh, that's sick.
But I don't know. I've always felt garlic bread's overrated. It's only good when you get the garlic cheese bread.
Yeah,
that's such
true.
a crucial distinction.
Yeah, like a Little Caesar's cheesy cheese bread there. What is it called?
Crazy bread.
No, the what the fuck do they call it? Italian cheese bread or something.
If you don't have the cheese, the gym shorts win in a landslide.
I mean, you still have cheese. Garlic bread is a good appetizer. I like garlic bread though.
Yeah, it's not bad.
But you gotta take the shorts.
I think so. There's so many things you can sleep in gym shorts. You can
We gotta
play
crack a window.
sports. You can work out.
You can do
Very
nothing.
versatile clothing.
Yeah, and they're comfortable. So that's why I wear them, is because I just don't. I feel free.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. Unless you want to freestyle.
I have one. No, I have one. I have a fucking food or object,
All right,
motherfuckers.
well, Jesus Christ. Is it orange juice?
Nope. Artificial flavoring versus artificial limbs.
Oh, shit.
Yep. Where do your loyalty lie, you moral busting fucks?
No, it's definitely limbs, right?
Yeah, I think you gotta go with the limbs. Because
I don't
artificial flavoring, if you get rid of that, then, I mean, your food might get a little more expensive, but it's gonna taste better, and it's gonna be better for you once all
right.
that shit's gone.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, there's a lot of things you'd lose.
Now, are we
artificial
just, is it
flavoring-wise.
purely artificial flavorings, or are we also losing preservatives?
Yep. You're losing preservatives. You're losing... I should have specified it. You're losing anything unnatural from the food that you would add to it. Because the idea for me
Additives,
was...
artificial, anything
Okay,
artificial
now,
additives.
if we're losing the preservatives, then that guy on YouTube who eats the military rations, his whole channel's done.
Ty Lopez?
No, Steve 1989.
Is that his last name? 1989.
Taylor Swift named her after album. That dude, it really is like the best channel on all of YouTube. Just some wicked chill dude eats old
I feel
rations.
so stupid because I don't think a lot of the fans will understand that reference, but that was fucking perfect. Oh my god.
Yo, you gotta go fucking look that dude up when you get home, though. That's one of the best channels on all of YouTube.
No, I'm looking up Alex Adams as soon as I get home.
Who's that?
He's a porn star.
I'm looking up orange juice when I get home. I'm already home, I guess, but yeah.
But like the thing is if you don't take artificial limbs, think about all the lives that you're ruining.
Right. That's what I mean. Like, you're saving lives, and you're also being a little healthier at the same time. I think it's a win-win. All right. so that's it, I guess.
Can you imagine some amputee chick is just there in the middle of getting railed, then the fucking snap happens and her limbs just go...
Yeah.
She slides.
But you still got gushers, you know? You still have Skittles.
Well, it's probably gushing more than now that she doesn't have limbs.
Someone's gushing.
She's just in shock.
Right, yeah. Immediately. That's rough.
I feel like we should put a disclaimer like this entire podcast was literally just the WWE and Kobe dying. Like,
yeah. Yeah. Pretty similar.
And
topics.
we had 5 minutes of Super Bowl predictions, which is the only reason we had you on. But it was clear. I have final score. I have
27-24.
I have 38-35 Kansas City. I think Harrison Butker is going to kick the game winner.
I'm thinking 27-21 San Francisco. I'm thinking they score 2 rushing touchdowns for Mostert.
I'm thinking they don't
I think
do
he gets one.
I don't think they do shit with Mostert, honestly.
I think Jimmy G throws a touchdown in like 96 yards, and it's enough to get it done.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think they score mostly rushing touchdowns, I would imagine.
I don't know, it really is a lot more interesting now that the Chiefs shut down Derrick Henry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That definitely was huge. Because they showed that they can stop the run. And that's what the Niners do.
Yeah. I don't know, it's just... I don't know. You might be able to stop Mostert, but I don't know if you can stop that O-line and their run blocking.
Yeah. That's what it is. If you can slow down the run block. If you can get around, if you can shed blocks, you'll be all right. That'll be the whole game.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, like, if they can shut down the run, the fucking shit's going to go off. Like, Kansas City's going to go off.
Yeah. Because I don't know. That's the thing is, like, I don't know. I'm more sold on Jimmy G than I was, but I'm not entirely sold on him putting the game on his back.
Right.
Like, he can... I'm sold that the dude is clutch as fuck, but... if you need your quarterback to drop 400 yards in order to win, I don't know if he's that guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Oh, he's definitely not. He's not going to put up 400 yards. He won't put up 200 yards, I don't think. He might put up 200, maybe. But I think he's not going to put up 300. He sure as fuck is not. They're going to run the ball a lot.
I mean, he has had games where he's put up numbers, but...
I don't know if he can do it against them.
Yeah, he doesn't do it reliably.
Yeah. It's going to be a fun game. I think we should do a post-game, like a live post-game thing.
Yeah, we were talking about doing like a half hour right after the game ends.
Yeah. We'll just do... And I think if we can do it live. I don't see why not.
The game?
The post-game thing.
Oh, yeah, easily.
Because you almost have to, I guess.
If you just set up, like...
I can just set it up like we did with the Packers game that once.
True. It's going to be what? Like the 3 of us plus Katie, maybe Vinny? I won't be here till the second half. I'm watching the first half at home.
Yeah, I don't know what my plans are for the game.
But I know I'll be here for the second half.
Yeah, we'll have probably sheet pizza, so...
Well, yeah, you guys always have a ton of food that I always come in and I'm like, yep, okay.
What's left?
You don't look a day over 95.
All right, that's it. We'll see you guys soon, I guess, for this Super Bowl thing. If we do it. If we don't do it, then we're probably too drunk.
Rest in peace, Kobe Bryant,
Rip.
Gianna Bryant, and the other 7 victims of that helicopter crash.
I love how that's always how it's categorized too, like those 2 and then everybody else.
Yeah, fuck them. They don't matter.
Yeah. And they have to they go out of their way to...
And it's not,
yeah,
it's not
his daughter.
It's not like they don't matter. It's like in the realm of public perception. I apologize because obviously they do matter, but I don't know what their names are. I know Kobe died and I know his daughter died, and it's very sad. the situation would still be sad without Kobe and Gianna there. So
Yeah, I guess.
our condolences. We'll send a T-shirt out to somebody. I don't know.
Yeah. Kobe's family, we just send a Clear Shots t-shirt to them. They're like, what the fuck is this shit? Burn it immediately. All right, guys, we'll talk to you next week. Thank you for listening. ClearShotsPodcast.com is where you'll find links to everything we do. You can check us out on Twitter at ClearShotsPod. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and check us out on Periscope for live videos. If you have anything you want to ask us, send us an email at clearshotspodcast@gmail.com. Thank you for listening. We will see you next time.